Nerdrotic.com.
Woke.
It's been boring!
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
You look goofy.
Did I ever tell you about Ahsoka Tano? She was your father's exotic teenage alien apprentice, a fine piece of jailbait from a more civilized age. She had the tightest body and the perkiest little breasts in the galaxy, barely legal in most systems. Anakin and I used to double team her at the end of every success during the Clone Wars, and once in a while we'd even have the entire 500 first run a train over her, part of official Jedi training, of course. In time, and since she was constantly doing acrobatics, you'd get a glimpse of her orange pussy mid-fight as she'd do a flip while slicing a B-2 super battle droid in half.
So much like your father.
That's not the one I wanted. Damn it.
Nerdrotic.com.
There we go. Out of practice running my streams here. Holy shit. But it's appropriate. Hey, X-Ray Girl, if you're out there, I don't know if you got the message that we did want you to participate in this, but I guess she didn't get the message. Maybe she's working. What's up, everybody? What's up? Somehow, some way, this channel made it 10 years. I don't fucking know how. I have no idea how. But started out with, of course, typical audio issues. This one was with Streamlabs. I don't know what the hell's going on, but if I seem low, sorry. This is as loud as it's going to get, so I'll just get all az on the microphone. Let's see who's here. We got, if I can slow it down a bit. You guys are crazy. Rick Vanderlei. We got Bigra Killer, Yeti RC, Castigan, N Brown, Jay Price, Nick XH, green-haired. Hey, I was just on a green-haired. I just lost it now. God dang it. I was just on the Vets live stream with you. I was on a lot of live streams this weekend. It was great. What's up, Snow Dub? How's it going? It's Cat Press, Ronan the Crusader. Oh my God, you're going so. Burrito Man, Mister, and Ozymandias. Man, they did you dirty. They did you dirty in that Watchmen show. Sailor Mercury, Kenneth, Luke, Thoughts on Fitness with Nigel. You, Me, and the Movies, what's up? And Woo T Bear. It's Woo T Bear. Smooth the DJ. What's up, Nerdrotic? I'm sure Eric's around here somewhere. And everybody else. Welcome to I'm just winging this one. Oh, there she is. I'm gonna keep you in the background for a little bit, X-Ray Girl. While I make up some bullshit and pull it out of my ass, because that's usually how I do a stream. We did some prep on Friday Night Tights. We did we came up with a bit about 30 seconds before it started with having Az on, and that was great. What a show. What a week. What a year. What a decade. What a crazy, crazy decade. Gappy 10th Annie. Oh, that's Anne. That's an exclamation point. God. Did I tell you guys, with the last time I went for an eye test. They said, you're done. We can't bump up the prescription anymore. I'm like, well, shit. And they said, well, and you can't even get the LASIK eye surgery. What you can get is glaucoma surgery eventually, and that'll fix it. But you can't do it now. I'm like, all right. So Melissa, Mrs. Nerdrotic, got me this for Christmas for my Forbidden Frontier research library. But yeah, that's I'm gonna need it a lot. I already need it to read comic books. It's kind of sad. I had to read Alpha Core with that. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Real BBC. Real BBC. My favorite part was when I got the book on time. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. And you know what? It was of quality. There you go. It was a quality book delivered on time. Which is all we ever ask for. Or even around on time. I think that's respectable. I think within a year. I think that's fine too. When you start getting into George R. R. Martin territory, well, then you better deliver some phone book fantasy. That's all I'm saying. How long has it been, by the way? Shall we check? It's been a while since I checked. Give me a moment. I check this so much, it autofills for me. I just put how many days, and it automatically goes to July 12th, 2011. And it's been 4,563 days since the release of A Dance with Dragons. George, he is going to make the greatest book ever. Chances are it'll be pretty good. In a different timeline where he finished it, because we're not in that timeline. He ain't finishing this book. It's not happening, which is disappointing because I really like those books quite a lot. Looking forward to House of the Dragon. So, real quick, so we don't keep X-Ray Girl in the back. How you doing, X-Ray Girl? You okay? Oh, you can't hear me on StreamYards. Oh, well, I'll just hang on. There we go. Now, that's weird. But that's going to be a problem, too. I wonder why. Good God, StreamYards is just every time we go there, it's like, hey, let's pretend it's a new setting. It does every time. Now you can hear me on StreamYards. But they can hear me fine out there, which is the most important thing. I don't care if you saw that. All right. How did we get here? Well, obviously, lots of training. I am a professional. Lots of training, lots of practice. I have refined all my skills to. I am a super ninja of live streaming, obviously. And it's basically, it's God-given talent. What can I say? It's just God-given talent that's got me this far. I don't boomer anything. I don't make a mistake on anything. And I'm always right. So we know that's not true. Quick origin story. We're not going to go from, I was born a poor, no, I won't finish that. But I could. I was born a poor black child. I started this channel mostly by accident. I would say that. But podcasting had been rolling around in my head for a long, long time. When I was at now I know there's some new people here, but this may come as a shock to a lot of you. I used to own a comic store for 10 years in San Francisco called The Comic Outpost. And I always wanted to make the store more than just a comic store, a newsstand, and that comes from every time I travel to a city, I visit minimum one comic store. I usually try to visit 2 or 3. And I remember going to Vegas one time, and we took a cab. Off the Strip. This is 20 years ago. And I get to a comic store. Took us a half hour to get there. Get to a comic store. It's a newsstand. It's basically a diamond storefront. It's got some new releases, some top 10 trades. You know, there's Watchmen, there's Sin City, blah, blah, blah. There's freaking Scott Pilgrim, blankets, worst fucking thing I've ever read. And fucking blankets, don't get me started on that. Blankets was really, you know, it's really helped out, you know, slice of life, Cal Arts, lesbian on a unicycle fucking fanfic. It's terrible. It's called, you know, it's fucking terrible. I hate all that stuff. But I get out there and there's like literally nothing there. The walls are white. There's no posters on the walls or anything. And maybe the guy didn't have the budget, whatever. But that's what really planted in my head that my comic store needs to be an experience. Like you can't it's not just going there to buy your comics. So I want every square inch covered in comic books, posters, movie banners, comic books, rare items, floor to ceiling. I had action figures hanging from the ceiling. I wanted even, I always said to people, you know, because I know a lot of people travel from the East Bay, had to get on BART, risk, you know, getting murdered to come see my shop. And I always told them, hey, I want you to remember being here even if you didn't buy anything. So when people would enter my store, they would gasp, and that was awesome. That's the whole point, is like I want you to be immersed. I want you to dive into an ocean of comic books and everything we love. That was what it was all about. And it was insane. And I built upon that. And we had video running all day. We had couches. People can hang out. And they did for hours and hours. And I'm like, hey, you know, there's this podcasting thing. We should do that. So we did it once in a while. The podcasts are all, I think I have a couple on a couple of broken drives that I need to fix, and I really need to go and get that. But it was called the We Have Issues podcast because the tagline for the Comic Outpost is We Have Issues. Because I you know, on the limited budget, I didn't have like Mile High budget or any of these other big comics, but I did my best to like have like really good back issues. And we bought collections when I could. And it was always rotating in, and the more you buy, the more you can sell, blah, blah, blah. So we had the We Have Issues podcast. And we did about 10 episodes. Well, I have some video of it too. And it was like Friday Night Tights. There was like 9 of us. It was all my employees, then a couple of regulars at the store. And the one I remember the most that I've talked about a lot was the day Disney bought Marvel. And it was like a complete shock. Like, I hadn't heard it from other comic store owners. Other comic store owners were calling me going, what the fuck? And we called in the troops and had an emergency podcast. I don't know if anybody listened to it. It used to be on, I think the site was called podcast.com, and it went defunct. And when it did, at the time, it took all my episodes. I should have backed more of them up. But I remember us sitting down and talking, and it was a couple hours we were discussing this, and we all came to the conclusion, and this was back then, is like, hey, we'll get some pretty good comic book movies, and the comic books will suffer. Boy, were we right for a little while. And then basically when Disney fully took over, because if you read that MCU book, the seeds were sown of MCU's failure much earlier on, when they were ceding more power to Kevin Feige, when he was a good coordinator of talented people. He's not a very good coordinator of untalented people. But I digress. We did that podcast, and it was always in my head that, hey, I want to have a podcast studio here, and I want to do podcasts. Now, it didn't come to fruition because I went right into relapse and fucked everything up and had to sell the store. You guys have heard that story. And if you haven't, it'll be in the book. It'll be in the book. So we go to January 7th, 2014, which is 10 years and 1 day ago. And I'm depressed. I'm kicked out of my house, so I can't see my kids. I am 10 days sober at that time. I did do a podcast before the first official one with my son, and I was sick. I was just coming down off all this stuff, but I was sick. And we reviewed Matt Smith's The Time of the Doctor. All right, that was Matt Smith's last episode, Time of the Doctor. And I think it's still on the website. I think it is still on nerdrotic.com. But on December 7th, I had an idea. Well, I had Nerdrotic. So the term Nerdrotic, I guess I should back up a little bit. So I've had that since the mid-2000s when a customer came in and was talking about a book on the new release shelf, and I could have sworn he said Nerdrotic. Now, he tells me he said neurotic, but I heard Nerdrotic. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. Now, it's been in the Urban Dictionary. I was not aware of it. I thought I heard him say. So I went right to GoDaddy, and I bought the domain nerdrotic.com to use it for something. I just thought it was a good idea, thought it was a good name. So I'm like, I'm going to hang on to it, and I just kind of didn't do anything with it, not even when I initially started the channel. So we fast forward back to January 7th, 2014. I'm with my friend John Reed. I believe that was a Sunday. Was it this? I'm not going to go back. It was around this time. There was a Charger playoff game we were watching. I was at his house in L.A. And I was at the sober living environment, but I don't think I had quite checked in yet. So I was at his house, and we came up with this idea to start, the channel. So I just signed up in his living room. I just signed up. Boop, 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 signed up. Fast forward, I can't remember the exact date, but week or two later, I'm in the sober living environment. My friend Dennis Bethaukis, who used to be a co-host here, his brother just died. So we were kind of depressed, and we're like, let's do something fun. I've got no money, so let's go down to the Starbucks at West Portal. If you're familiar with San Francisco, West Portal is like this little isolated neighborhood with a Muni line stop, and it's like a transfer station, but it's like a little hoity-toity neighborhood, one of many that are sprinkled around San Francisco in between all of the burbs and the horrible parts. It's the way San Francisco is. I mean, it does have like Hunter's Point, but there's a lot of horrible parts like right in the middle of like really rich neighborhoods. They really try to spread the poverty. And we do this podcast, and I do believe we talked about liking Arrow. I think we discussed Superman versus Batman. Probably some Game of Thrones or whatever, about an hour podcast. And that's how it started. So we started out, I think, with one a month, then we went to two a month, and we just, got together and talked about whatever happened in the last 2 weeks. And these were edited, so I would record them on Audacity and then edit them together and throw them up on the podcast site. And then I started backing them up on YouTube. YouTube wasn't even in my mind at this time. Making videos wasn't in my mind. Eventually, it led to, my friend John worked with Rob has a podcast. I guess he's some former Survivor contestant. And he's like, we should do post-show recaps. I'm like, that's a fucking great idea. Let's do it. I like Talking Dead, so let's just do some post-show recaps of everything except for Walking Dead. So we did Game of Thrones. We started out with Westworld, Ash versus Evil Dead, Game of Thrones, American Gods. Those are some of the early ones. The Expanse eventually. And like they were getting like 300 views, 400 views. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. At the time, I think 30 subscribers. I think it was under 100. And I was perfectly happy with this hobby because when the one thing I remember is when getting sober, it's that downtime that really leads to relapse. So keep yourself busy and happy. And sometimes it's a struggle through 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. So, the two things I did to relapse that were really bad were stop going to meetings, stop going to the gym. So I immediately started going back to the gym, started going to meetings, had myself a hobby, had to go get myself a job again. And it was taking a giant step back. So I just kind of see it as I needed to practice a lot more humility. So I, started at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And while I'm working these, blue-collar jobs, and it's what I did before the comic store. I sold auto parts I have 15 years experience. I'm a journeyman. I could do it at any place, anywhere. It's always nice to, you know what? It's very nice to have a skill to fall back on if I need to, because this could end at any time. So, trade school, I joke, but I don't joke. I think it's far more important. Like, even if you are going to school, maybe learn a trade, maybe learn something else. That could be used practically in the real world. Until, I'm sure there'll be technology that will take away the middleman of selling auto parts someday. But until then, I still am pretty secure in a job if I need it. So it's a job I knew. I didn't totally hate it. I did hate it, like going to O'Reilly and stuff and working. Basically, it felt like going back to working at Burger King or something like that. It was that bad. But I needed to do it. I needed to work my way back into the system, and I did. And while I was doing that, I was podcasting. And I got I kind of jumped from job to job because the pay was good as my skills came back to me, which was pretty quick. Other people wanted me, so I kept jumping, and they kept offering me more money, so I kept saying yes. Another place would reach out and go, "You want to work here for more money?" Yeah. Okay. Yes. So, hey, thanks for the time. They're offering me more money. I got to go. Because that's exactly what the company would do to you. We're spending too much money. You got to go. So, you be respectful. You give them your 2 weeks notice, but it's like, see ya. I'm out of here. They're offering me more money. And as I'm doing this, we're doing 2 podcasts a day. And then we're doing the post-show recaps, which is at night, which is great because I work during the day, so we can watch these shows at night and just go live. And that's what we did for a long time, years. And it was fun. And it really planted the seeds for Game of Thrones later, by the way. And then, The Force Awakens comes out. It was a combination of a lot of things. The Force Awakens comes out, and when I first saw it, there was so much hype around it. I'm like, I just didn't like that. And I was questioning my sanity because I saw everybody loving it. I'm like, I just didn't like it. So I watched it again. And I'm like, maybe I like it. And then I watched it again. I'm like, no, I fucking hate it. What the fuck is this? Why didn't Luke say a word? What's going on? And the rumors were out that Han was just going to come back to die. And I just didn't want to believe that. I'm like, I know Harrison Ford wanted that in Return of the Jedi, but I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that they would kill fucking Han Solo. And they did. They did. So that just stuck in my craw. I was like, fuck that. But there was also this thing happening in comics. So I had kind of taken a year off of comics just to focus on my life. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on in the comics world. So I just started looking around YouTube. And I run across this guy, your boy Zach from Diversity in Comics. And it was late at night when I was watching this video, and I watched Captain Marvel is Everything Wrong with Marvel. And that was that kind of opened up the rabbit hole for me. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I subscribed to Zach and followed him, watched all of his videos back when he used to live stream, and you'd see his crotch and his little white socks. And he'd toss comics off to the other side of the room or rip them up. And Zach was a big inspiration for this channel. There's been many inspirations, but he was a big inspiration for this channel. So then, of course, we're going to fast forward. Last Jedi happens. And, I'm working at Tesla at this time, and videos are just jumping off, and I run across this country bumpkin southerner named Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who looked like a total jock. It's like this jock is sitting there talking about Star Wars, but he knows what he's talking about. What the fuck's going on? So I'm watching him. I'm watching your boy Zach. I'm watching Yellow Flash. I'm watching That Umbrella Guy. Like all day at work, because the work was so easy. I would just finish it and then just watch live streams all day. And I did a live stream on The Last Jedi many, many years ago, but I'd say my first foray in is Doctor Who. It was absolutely Doctor Who. When they announced Jodie, my office where I used to, there might still be pictures and videos of it, used to be completely Doctor Who. It used to be a Doctor Who room. I had put all the Marvel stuff and everything kind of in storage or in they were in my garage. And I made a Doctor Who room. That day, I ripped it all down. I ripped it all down. Both my kids said, we're not watching anymore. And it pissed me off. So, time passed. They started airing the episodes. And I did a live stream. It did pretty well. And I saw people making videos. And I'm like, well, there's no way I can make videos, as fast as Geeks and Gamers, or because I'm working my day job. I can't do it. So screw it. I'll just make a video at night and whatever. And I did a couple of Doctor Who videos. Now there's been like incremental growth. My videos used to be, I would live stream for 10 minutes and end it. And that would be my video. My first one that really popped was The Expanse getting canceled after season 3 before Amazon picked it up and saved The Expanse stuff. But then Culture War started happening with Doctor Who, and I did a couple of Doctor Who videos, and one of them did like 60,000 views, and I'm like, holy shit. And this is, right around 1,000 subs, something like that. And then it was just kind of off to the races, and that's where I went. I think my first big live stream was, unfortunately, I was going live that day anyway, but when Stan Lee died. And that's when it started, like, kind of rolling around in my head, especially because the growth was so fast with the Doctor Who stuff. After 4 years of just kind of, just meandering along, the growth was so fast. I'm like, you know what? Opportunities like this don't come along ever. So Melissa and I talked, and I said, hey, what do you think about me? Because I remember Jeremy from the corner and going, never quit your day job. Never quit your day job. And he's right. He's right. What I did, probably pretty stupid. I got lucky. But I quit my day job. Melissa was okay with it. I mean, she was making way more money than me. But we also knew that, like, I can get a job probably closer, because I was working at San Rafael. So I was, like, commuting over the Golden Gate Bridge. So that's shit. At the time, $8 to $10 a day, every day, paying a toll, driving 45 minutes. It was nice working outside of the hellhole that is San Francisco. San Rafael's a pretty nice town. But, yeah, so I was like, well, maybe I'll find something closer. Yeah, but what I'll do is I'll try this YouTube thing for 6 months. If it doesn't work, I'll just go back. And that was I never in my wildest dreams thought the next 6 months would play out like it did. Because the month I quit was by far my best month on YouTube. And within a pretty short period of time, it was equaling my pay from Tesla, which was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thanks to you guys. So it worked out, and we just focused on that, and I did it on my own for many years. Fast forward, guy named, I'm going to fast forward, like, if you guys are new, the videos are all still there. You fast forward, Doctor Who turned into a giant fucking disaster. Game of Thrones hit. Season 8 was a giant disaster. That's still my most watched live stream to this day. 24,000 live viewers. Was after the Winds of Winter, right? That's what they called it, or Winter Has Come. I can't remember the episode now. So that's how things kind of took off. Things absolutely kind of took off after that, and then the Culture War kicked in. Not anything I ever intended on getting into, but as more time passed, it became abundantly clear that, old Hollywood used to be, what have you done for me lately? And and no matter how big you were, if you had a couple of bombs, you're done. You're freaking done. And you got to go, and if you're an actor, you got to go do a TV series. If you're a director, you might be done forever. You cost the studio hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't want to touch you. You are radioactive. You are cancer. And that stopped. And it became, I'm going to like something because it politically agrees with me. Taylor Sheridan was on Joe Rogan. I highly recommend you guys watch Taylor Sheridan talk on Joe Rogan. And he pointed this out. They were talking about how, corporate critics are completely useless. And that was it. But it's also the access media, entertainment media, corporate Hollywood, completely useless. But he pointed out, that's something we pointed out. Oh, I'm just going to like this movie now, even though we know objectively it's a piece of shit, because it agrees with it. It's confirmation bias. So films started to become what news was becoming, confirmation bias. And we're like, what the hell is going on here? And as time goes on, and we discussed it on all the live streams over the weekend, I think it's a little of both. I think it's an echo chamber that basically turned into a authoritarian environment where if you disagree with them on their politics, you are completely ostracized. And it's also people moving the pieces and relying on the idiots and the morons who are mostly adult pretenders to repeat talking points. And the NPC download. It's the perfect meme for that. It's the NPC download. And it's created this sewage of woke Hollywood. And what we saw in the years prior to that with early Comicsgate, when it was a customer movement, that was a precursor of things to come. Then it bled into Star Wars, which makes more normies aware of it. Not all the normies, because apparently it's still news to some people. And, you can't get too frustrated with that because people are busy. You can get frustrated with the pundits who pretend to be in this culture war, and then they come out and, and it's great that they're here, over the Charmin Obaid Chinoy stuff. But 99% of the stuff you're seeing was out there 8 months ago, and we were talking about it, and I know you guys know that because you were talking about it too. But it is good to see them actually talking about it because it is important. Now, I hope, against hope, that they're not just drive-by commentators and they're looking to ride the wave of the algorithm and piss off. If a few of them still realize that pop culture is culture in America. Pop culture is culture. Whatever's happening in Hollywood is happening in Washington, okay? Whatever's happening in Washington is happening in our schools. What's happening in our schools is happening in our city governments, our local city governments. And that's why it's really important for most of us to come together under the umbrella of common sense and start on the ground level to bring things back to sanity, or we won't. Things aren't going to get brought back to sanity just changing a CEO of a once woke company like Twitter. It's a big part of it. It helps, absolutely, but that's not going to change anything. It's going to help change anything. Changing a president. 4 years. That's not. This is much longer than that. Took much longer to happen. We can't put all our hopes in one guy and one president. Where you can put your hopes in is you, me. So, I'll go out and start a live stream and I'll just start talking about it and be honest. And that's why I've encouraged a lot of you to do it. If you want to change things, start with local government. Start at the ground level because that's what they did. That's what they did. That's how they being the identitarians, the Marxists, just the ones who just want chaos, the ones who just want to destroy this country. And the reason most of them want to destroy this country is because they're just unhappy people. They're just unhappy people who cannot look themselves in the mirror and take any responsibility for anything. That's most of it, unfortunately. We are, unfortunately, most societies in the West now, because they've become so comfortable, are governed and supported, and the people who support them are by cowards. That's what this whole battle has been about. I haven't heard anybody. If you want to be like the Daily Wire and go make some like right wing entertainment, by all means, that should be out there. I've always wanted balance, right? Nobody's ever asked for those kind of. I've never asked for my politics to be in a movie. I like being challenged on some stuff. It's good. But again, Taylor Sheridan talked about this with Joe Rogan. It's about leading to questions, not answers. So he said himself, he's like, I hate walking into a movie and getting fucking preached at and told the answers. What I would like to hear is the questions. The great Blade Runner debate. That's why I hated that was fucking answered by Ridley Scott. What an idiot. Never answer the question of Rick Deckard being a replicant. Never. That's the whole point. The whole point is to debate it. At the end of Total Recall, is it all in his head? Did it really happen? Never answer that question. Never answer that question. That's good storytelling. That's good storytelling. Even from Philip K. Dick, who was an abusive drug addict. But it has been a hell of a ride over the last 10 years. It's been tons of fun. I'm grateful. Hail to the fellowship. That's the best part of this. I was talking to Jeremy a couple of days ago on the phone. And, I was like, man, he actually, that Star Wars video I just did almost didn't come out. Cause I'm like, what new do you say about Disney Star Wars, especially when most of this news is old? But there was a little hook at the end that convinced me. And that's thanks to Jeremy, which was, it really did. I'm glad things played out the way they did, because things wouldn't have changed. Sure, it'd be nice to have good Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who, but fandom will survive. Fandom is surviving this, and actually fandom is starting to come back together now. That's the best part of this. The IPs are going to come and go. There'll be some new stuff. I mean, it is sad that I'm a huge genre fan, and I think genre as a whole is going to bite the dust because so many people have hitched their wagons to sequels and old IPs and haven't adapted new stuff that's good out there and haven't made new stuff. But the best part about this is just seeing the fandom come together, seeing my fellow audience members come together, be it mockery or whatever. And, there are still some good things out there. It's mostly bad, but there's still some good things out there. But seeing the Star Wars fandom's actually kind of healing now. Maybe someday you can bring it back if Disney stops now. But I think that positive outweighs everything else. Is we found each other. We found independent voices. Now it's led to other people starting creating their own stuff, which is brilliant. And that's how independent movements start. That's how they've always started. It's how punk started. It's how the whole hippie movement started. The response to all the stadium rock that was out there for punk, and it was also a fashion thing too. UK was a fashion thing. Punk really started in the US, but don't tell the Brits. Don't tell the Brits. We don't want to tell them that. But either way, things run in cycles. The only thing that was strange in this point is this: the woke cycle should have run out already, but during the great reset of COVID, Summer of Love, that was the first time where I've seen Hollywood force a trend that was clearly against what people wanted so much that it woke more people up to it. I use the word woke. They woke up to the woke. They woke up to the woke. So now they're going to, if they would have just let this cycle die normally, they'd be okay right now. But they didn't. but they didn't. And they're going to continue it. And now it's threatening their entire industry, and they won't admit it. They won't admit it. I saw some of the Golden Globes last night. Boring as fuck. That host was awful. Great. Oppenheimer won. A lot of white people won. A lot of Asian. A lot of Asian. X-Ray Girl's happy because a lot of Asian people won. She won. X-Ray Girl won all the Golden Globes, by the way, just in case you didn't know. X-Ray Girl. Sorry, that was longer in a second, X-Ray Girl. But yeah, I did this channel on my own for a long time. Then Quarter Black reached out to me and said he wanted to work with me, and my response was, "Are you sure? Are you really? I mean, because you work for Steven Crowder, dude. That's kind of awesome." And he said he wanted to get more into the pop culture thing, get out of politics, which I completely understand. So I'm like, sure. We'll try it for a year, see how it works out, and it's worked out really well. Couldn't be happier for Quarter Black, and now he's got his own show too, Normal World with the great Dave Landau. And over time, Perry was there, and he was just a memer on Twitter. And we started using his intros for Friday Night Tights. Then he started editing videos, and I'm like, hey, why don't you do this clip thing? We'll do another channel, and it's half yours. And he does new Nerdrotic Daily and does our thumbs. He does a great job. And then, of course, I'm like, I need, obviously, from today, I need a producer. I need an engineer. I need people to set up live streams because I'm busy doing other things. And I need somebody organized, highly organized. And Jeremy recommended X-Ray Girl. And here we are. On the 10th anniversary, just bullshitting here. Here she is. I made her wait a long time. She's probably far away. And we're just gonna keep it going. Like I wasn't gonna do some big, highly produced thing, because honestly, it's just another day. This is more about like the fellowship than anything else. Like saying thank you, because we got work to do. It's like Echo's coming out, and I got to prep for Echo, but it's been tons of fun. How do you like it here, X-Ray Girl?
Oh, I love it. It's so nice to be able to like do what I need to in the time I allot. It's like I'm an independent woman. I'm kidding.
You're every woman and every Asian too.
Yeah, I know. And Perry Chan.
You're Perry Chan.
Yes.
That's why you never see them together. Oh, you did see them together once. But yeah, thanks for being here. We're just hanging out. Hi, everybody. Yeah. If the volume's low, yeah. I tested the volume. It sounded fine to me. So maybe if you're on your phone. But yeah, for some reason, I cannot pump up the volume on
Am I too loud?
on my stream ups. No, it's me. So you're fine.
I'll lower the. They're saying I'm really
fine.
loud. Oh.
Are you here? I can find out. Plug your ears out there, chat. Yeah, for some reason, I cannot pump up the volume on.
Am I too loud?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Cool.
You are fine.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, we got to work. We got to get that thing going. It's. They're waiting on me. I keep forgetting what it's called. What's it called again?
Evmux. EVMUX.
What the fuck is that name? That's dumb.
I don't know.
Give me something I can remember, okay?
I'll drop it in the.
Whose idea was it? Like, hey, we got this new streaming service that can like compete against. We've got this new streaming thing that can compete against StreamYards. We're gonna call it. What the fuck? It's like somebody in the chat who like just came up with the name and like I can't be bothered to even think of something, so I'm just gonna like hit some consonants on my keyboard. But whatever it is, it's Evmux. It's pretty good. We just gotta get through it and learn it. So I don't even want to like the fact that it's 10 years, I can't. It feels like it went so quick. I forgot who said it on Twitter. It feels like 2014 was just a couple of years ago. And that was a good year. We got Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Winter Soldier. Game of Thrones wasn't totally shit. When was season 4? That might have been. Was that season 4? 2011.
What?
Yeah, it was still really good. Game of Thrones was still really good. Things were really good. Things were looking up. We were getting some pretty decent, like Prestige TV was starting out, and they were doing some really interesting things. There was a lot of fun shit to cover, and it went to hell pretty fast, pretty effing fast. Last Jedi, Doctor Who, of course, 2016 happened, and that just broke Hollywood. Absolutely, the TDS broke Hollywood. It's still breaking Hollywood. I kind of marvel at people who can not complain. Like, you don't have to like Trump. Nobody's asking you to like Trump. But if you sit there and say, "Oh, Joe Biden's this great president," you're fucking high. You're high. He's fucking terrible. He's there. I was alive during the Carter years. Okay, I was alive. I remember how like sad America was. America was like sad. Like collectively, the country was sad. I remember sitting in gas lines with my mom for 2 hours because the license plate that ended in odd numbers would get one day, and the ones that ended in even numbers would get one day at the gas station, and they were all fucking packed, and they would run out of gas. Of course, later on, we learned this is all manufactured bullshit, but whatever. It was sad times. Biden's worse. Biden is worse. No, we didn't get to sit in gas lines, but yeah, Biden's worse, much worse. It's a very sad time. So it's good that that's waking people up. More people are waking up. But there's, you're never going to be able to fight the people like, I love Daddy Gavin Newsom. It's like, that guy doesn't even have a personality, right? Like he gets his personality programmed every morning and his talking points, and he's set out. I'm surprised people can't like see his strings. He's God, I hate Gavin, and he's always been like that, by the way. Which led me to Texas. Yeah, there's the whole COVID thing. There's the whole COVID thing, and Friday. It's amazing that an entertainment channel, that all these entertainment channels like survived 2020, because when you look back, even with like this year's schedule, which is light, it's still better than 2020, which was just nothing, absolutely nothing. And then it slowly came back, but thank God for Snowflake and Safe Space. And then that's when Friday Night Tights really started. I know. Talked about that for a month. Oh, I lost my shit when I saw that, though. I mean, it's out there. Perry made a clip on it. Because the first thing I thought of was like the comic stores are fucked. We got COVID coming, and then they're putting out this, Daniel Kibblesmith is a millionaire who they probably didn't even pay. He probably bought his way on to do the new Warriors with Snowflake and Safe Space and internet gas, and Trailblazer was just a big fat girl. And it was terrible, utterly terrible. We got to talk about it for a month, but I think a lot of live streaming was done during COVID, and that helped a lot of live streamers. Certainly helped Friday Night Tights because, we weren't doing anything. And I'm normally not doing anything on Friday, so that's why we picked it. But if you guys got any questions or anything, I'm just going to ramble. I'm going to read your questions, do some super. This is like an old school nooner, X-Ray Girl. This is how I used to do it. I used to fuck everything up in the beginning and just go.
It was so funny. I'm in backstage thinking like, okay, I'm gonna just leave him a message. I'm like, oh wait, they can't even hear me. Just go on in.
They can hear you. Oh well, they can't hear you. No, they can hear me, but they couldn't hear the sound from the clips. I had some good ones lined up.
I know. I heard them all when I came in the room too. I'm like, oh, it sucks for them.
Wait, yeah, where is it? I was moving them because we have so many clips in here now. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, yeah.
It's been boring!
think that's my new favorite.
Yeah. That's my new
As
favorite
is
as well.
balls.
That's my new favorite as well. Let me get over here. And this, of course, will be on Nerdrotic Live. It'll be uploaded. But afterward, if you're still watching, we'll unlist it so you can keep watching. Just hang on to the link. Hang on to the link. And thanks, everybody who watched my last video. Charmine obeyed Chinoy. What can you say? It is interesting to see how this is played out and how this is. I just saw Tim Pool do a short on I think it said Disney Star Wars is dead. It's like, yeah, bro. Long dead. Long dead. It's not even close to being new news. And see the pundits. Ryan brought one up. I can't remember who it was, but some pundit with like 1 million followers on Twitter puts up like, who should be in charge of Star Wars? Dave Filoni or is it Kathleen Kennedy or Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau? And the answer is none of the above, because they've all been in charge of Star Wars, and they suck. And if you think for 1 minute that Disney can make anything good with this regime, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. I've heard from a lot of people that within Marvel, that Kevin Feige has recognized the problem and really wants to turn things around. He ain't going to be able to do it. You can't turn things. You can't turn something around this big midstream. You can't pivot. Eric says it all the time. You need to stop. I know that's not going to be good for the investors. You know what isn't good for the investors as well? Activism and destroying your investments. So every bad thing you come out with destroys your investment some more. And every bad thing you come out with Disney Star Wars or Disney Marvel ensures it'll never come back. Not in our lifetime. So they need to stop. They just need to stop. And they're not going to, but they're going to try to right the ship, and I shit you not, with Black Falcon, Captain America. That's the movie they're going to try to, not Deadpool 3. Nope. That is just a stopgap, and it'll do well. The movie that they're going to change things with is Black Falcon, Captain America. The film they had to entirely reshoot. The film they shot again. I can't turn my volume up. I already talked about it. I can't turn my volume up. It's impossible. Impossible. So, I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs right now. But every time I stop to check, I listen on my phone or my computer, and it's fine. So, sorry.
I just lowered my volume, so hopefully it's a little better on that end.
Here we go. We're gonna test this out. We're gonna show them.
You and Mark do the same thing when you're working. You make little like beep boop bop 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 bop, bop noises.
Gotta fill time. You could say something if you want.
I don't know. Ooh, I'm excited to watch. I just checked. Demolition Man is on Netflix, and Running Man I had to rent, but that's okay. And I didn't know Schwarzenegger was in the movie for Running Man, I believe. So I miss young Schwarzenegger. Oh my God.
We all do.
He was so,
we all do.
90s was like the best. 90s was the best. I think the first thing I ever saw him in was Terminator 2. Damn, that was a good movie. I kind of want to watch that again. I didn't watch the first one though. I didn't watch the first one. Oh, and Drinker's in the chat. Hail, Drinker.
What's up, Drinker? There we go.
I saw a few people.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good to me. Right. Is Drinker here? Hey, Drinker, what's up, dude? Oh, I got to call you later. Or you do, X-Ray Girl.
Oh, did you reply back to me about something?
No, we will though.
Okay. Sounds cool.
We will.
I have a feeling I know what you're saying.
Yep. We will. So it's great that the pundits like absolutely recognized that Star Wars is dead 4 years too late. And yeah, now it's been 4 years. I mean, we can argue, was it The Last Jedi? Was it The Force Awakens? Was it The Rise of Skywalker? I would argue the minute they stuck a lightsaber in Han Solo, it was done. And then not had Mark Hamill utter a word in the first movie and be in it for the last 5 seconds, that was dead. The minute you didn't put Han, Luke, and Leia together, it was dead. But I will listen to your arguments about the Last Jedi and, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, which brought more people together. Force Awakens was fool's gold. Mandalorian was fool's gold. They had zero plan. The EU they canceled. They're just going to strip mine it for their shit. And now it's not even a copy of a copy of a copy. Robert Meyer Burnett has said this before. Star Wars is just about itself, and it doesn't even know what to be about. It has no meaning other than to be a delivery mechanism for the message. And if you're out there in the access media listening to that right now and just going, no, it isn't, just quit. You're not good at your job. You don't know what you're doing. You know nothing about fandom. You know nothing about nerddom. You need to go learn something that you're good at, because if you don't recognize what is right in front of your face, the acolyte. You hired Kathleen Kennedy hired an activist director for brought back a Rey movie and hired an activist director after she's going to do an LGBTQ plus focused High Republic show. High Republic. Remember the High Republic? There's a character that's a fucking rock. There's a non-binary Han Solo. By the way, there's like 50 versions of Han Solo in Disney Star Wars now. We got Dr. Afra or whatever the fuck she is. She's a lesbian Han Solo. Then there's another lesbian Han Solo. Then there's a non-binary Han Solo. And now Chewbacca's a rock. This is what they've come up with. The people who had to put diversity twice on the whiteboard and wanted dinosaurs. George Lucas must be banging his head against the wall if he even cares anymore. I mean, he came out looking pretty good from this deal. After all the shit he went through after the prequels, he's all, you asked yourself, how could it get any worse? Well, I'll show you. Things can always get worse. Yeah. So Kathleen Kennedy hires a former Harvey Weinstein assistant to run a show that's LGBTQ plus focused, that's kind of pushing the High Republic, which has sold nothing. Drunk 3PO's done tweeted about it, done videos about it, where the artists and writers for High Republic books are sitting at conventions and nobody goes to their table. How freaking sad is that? Our boy Drinker, who was out there, was at Anime Matsuri. They put Drinker in the corner, and he still had a fucking huge line of people. Huge line of people. Nobody puts Drinker in the corner, by the way.
Oh.
You hear that, Matsuri? Just kidding. Star Wars is dead. Great. Breaking news from 2019. But it's good. It is good that more people are waking up to it. Bring some more people into the fellowship, and we can have some fun mocking it. I can't wait for The Acolyte to come out. Probably most anticipated series this year is The Acolyte. Because I think that's going to be a far bigger disaster than even Agatha, if that comes out this year. We're not entirely sure that's coming out this year. What else is? Oh, yeah. And then we got Echo tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have Echo, and they thought Marvel thought that, hey, we'll just drop it in January. Nobody will notice, except there's nothing out right now. There's no movies coming out. There's nothing coming out. This is going to be, everybody's going to be hyper focused on Echo, which they're putting on 2 streaming services at once, so it will get bigger numbers, and I guarantee you it won't. I guarantee you it won't. Ing the Merciless has seen it, and he said it was boring. First 3 episodes he saw. First 3 episodes. I think Chris is going to see it by Wednesday. I'll see it, of course, tomorrow night. As a matter of fact, you know what we're going to do for the members? We're going to, I'll watch the last 2 episodes. We'll do a watch party. I'm not going to do the whole thing with you guys. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. But I'll watch the last 2 episodes. We'll do a watch party. That was pretty fun when we did it with Rebel Moon. So, I just plan to do this until I croak. So it's brilliant that we've had 10 years. This wouldn't have happened with you guys. I think the quickest way, and I've said this before, it's like winning a lottery that you worked really hard for. So I've put a lot into this, but luck, whatever that luck was, had something to do with it too. And it's weird as a guy who hadn't experienced, I mean, it's my own fault, but hadn't experienced a lot of luck in his life, got it later on. I'm grateful for that. I don't know how I wouldn't be able to create a YouTube channel in my 20s. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I didn't have the mentality for it. I would have fucked it. And if I did do it, I'd have fucked it up immediately. So I'm grateful that it happened when I was older. Done some stuff before. But it's the best part about this job. This is why I love, that's why we're doing more and more meetups every year, is hanging out with you guys. Hanging out with you guys, hanging out with the fans, running around being knuckleheads. MegaCon's going to be tons of fun. We're going to be running around Universal. And and I guess there might be Swifties there because there's a rumor that Taylor Swift might play something at the Pro Bowl. Isn't a Pro Bowl a flag football game now? I don't even know. Why am I asking you?
I'm like, I didn't know people played flag football as a
Canadian
profession.
football still a thing?
It is, but it's not the same rules as NFL.
No, it's
And
a
there's
bigger
only,
field. That's where Doug Flutie came from.
I think there's only 8 teams or something like that.
Yeah. I used to watch Canadian football way back in the day. So Taylor Swift might be at the Pro Bowl. And then there's something else going on. Oh, there's some cheerleading thing going on. And that happened in Anaheim. So I got to prepare everybody for this. WonderCon happened at the same time as a cheerleading competition in Anaheim 7 years ago. It was a fucking nightmare. It was a nightmare. There was no parking. There was angry white soccer moms everywhere. Everywhere. It sucked. And this was outside of Disneyland. So this is after WonderCon moved to Anaheim. And so it's outside of Disneyland. So you have Disneyland people, Anaheim people, a bunch of crazy cheerleader fucking moms running around, and nerds. It was terrible.
Oh, what a great mix.
It's fucking terrible. You know what? The porn convention that shared the comic convention in Vegas was run more smoothly than WonderCon sharing a spot with the cheerleaders, and it was, oh, God. I couldn't get out of there fast enough, and I was working the con, right? I had to work that con, so could not get out of there fast enough. Bad combination, let's just say. Let's just say that. I don't need that window open. How's the chat doing? How you doing, chat? How you doing, chat? Let's get to some questions.
They look good.
They always look good. They always look good. Doesn't help that I have fasting brain. I'm on day 4.
Oh my God. How many days are you doing that?
7.
You're the hard part, I think.
I am. I mean, I can eat some like rice cakes and almonds. That's what I can eat.
I'm back on keto and it's worked very well. I feel
good.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm back to working out like 5 days a week.
See, that's good too. But when you're fasting, working out, like that's why I'm like I have no brain right now.
Like I fast when I work out because Um, when you have a large amount of carbs in your blood, it takes longer to reach your fats because there's a switch in your body that happens about 15 to 20 minutes into working
Yep.
out. And then you feel that like spurt of energy because that's your body accessing your fats. Now it's at like, I saw today, it was like 11 minutes when I was doing cardio.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
it was great. Yeah.
I've been
Thank you,
it's been
keto.
brutal. The first yesterday was brutal. This morning was brutal. So, I mean, I'm normally functionally retarded, so I was full blown retarded when I started this live stream. I was like, Melissa's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I think I can talk."
You're doing a fine job.
Coffee.
And if you
Keep
boomer,
growing
everyone just
coffee.
looks normal.
Yeah, it's on brand. Well, I mean, if you guys have any questions about that, that's fine. But unsolicited advice on streaming, don't just be humble. You're gonna fuck up. That's part of the stream. That's the beauty of streaming. I like seeing that. It's funny. For one, it gives your friends an opportunity to roast you, which will make the audience laugh. That's the whole fucking point. And it's not planned or anything, but like I've tried to go back and watch. I can't watch news. I can't watch ESPN. And it's not just because it's woke. That's most of it. But I can't watch shit that I'm going to get 10-second sound bites. It's going to commercial. You can see them reading. And I'm like, this is all bullshit. And I think that's a model. Oh, no. I know that's a model that's going to be dead very soon. You know, there used to be people. There was a guy named Ted Leitner in San Diego. My San Diegans will know who he is. Uncle Teddy. He used to do color commentary with Jerry Coleman for the Padres. He was the voice of the Aztecs. He even did some Charger work. Longtime sports guy, controversial as hell. Half of San Diego hated him. Half of San Diego loved him because he never used a teleprompter, not once. So he was our sports guy, and he just off the cuff. I fucking love Teddy. I love Uncle Teddy. San Diego calls him Uncle Teddy. I think everybody loves him now because he's older. But back in the day, half the town hated him. Half the town loved him. Some of the sports guys hated him. But Ted Leitner, a San Diego legend, and that's where the talent is people who can just go off the cuff and just go. And it's really hard when you're on like 3-minute segments. And that's the beauty of podcasting too. You know, the one thing that held back Art Bell was his commercial breaks. That sucks. But when he went to do Midnight in the Desert, he kind of gotten around that. But no breaks. We could just go as long as we like. It's great. It's awesome. $20. Wait, I need a name. Goji the King for $20 says, "Congrats on 10 years, Gary. Glad I got to meet you in Milwaukee. Keep up the good fight, you crazy boomer. Hail the chat. Hail FNT. Hail the fellowship. And hail to another 10 years. Cheers." Well, if I make it, you know, I could have a stroke midstream.
I hope not.
Keep the stream going if that happens, by the way, X-Ray Girl.
Okay. Do it for the grift, I guess.
Yeah. Shit. Grift the hell off my death, okay?
It'll be fun.
Well, it's going to happen anyway. Did you know, X-Ray Girl, 100% of all people die?
What?
True.
I had no
It's a fact.
idea.
Dan Vask has gifted 20 Nerdrotic memberships for 100 actual dollars.
Wow.
Where did he get that? Oh, I know. He finally turned the tables and robbed the starving children who were trying to rob him. Well done, Dan Vask.
Social
The
justice.
gangs of starving children from Brazil. Well done. I knew you could do it, Dan. So proud of my gay friend. Thanks, Dan. Goodrich has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. Hail! Nate the Great for $19.99 says, "Congratulations on 10 years, man. Thank you very much. I just had 10 years sober on the 27th of December, and then 10 days later, 10 years of the channel. It's been a lot of fun. December was it was a lot of work, a lot of fun. Got to travel, got to see you up in Wisconsin, X-Ray Girl. That was fun. That meetup was great.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
UK was my favorite, I think.
UK was a brilliant trip. I want to go back. I want to go back to Clarkson's farm. I want to see more castles. I want to spend way more time in the country. I don't know if I could skip London altogether and
Me
I'd be
too.
fine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I could just never go back to London. Like we'll land in Heathrow and bail and go see everything else. Maybe we could stay in like Oxford or Bath.
I want to stay in an actual castle.
Yes. Ian so forth for 50 British pounds proper money. Congrats on a decade, Gary. Onwards. Cheers. And yeah, it's the grind, but it wasn't that's the term. The grind is the term. It never feels like it. If it starts feeling like a grind for me, I always said this in the comic store too, then maybe it's time to either radically change things or try something new. If it starts to feel like a grind, because most importantly, like this needs to be fun. That's why we go on those trips. Those trips cost money. I don't care. It's money well spent because I'm just hanging out and having fun. Some people might call it team building. I call it vacation. I think it's important to take breaks, to avoid burnout's real. Take breaks. I've put myself in a position to where I don't have to make a video every day. I wouldn't want to. There's for me, I'd rather put more time into like one. Drinker does one video a week roughly. I do one video a week. Mahler does one every 5 years, and it gets 18 million views. It's just how you build your channel. Like Ryan can do. I think he told me the number. Sorry if I got this wrong, Ryan, but I think he said 90 videos. 90. He is a machine. All right. But he's got the talent to do that quick. I could never do that. I could never, ever do what Ryan does. Cause and it's not like I wouldn't want to do it. I don't have the ability to do what Ryan does.
I don't understand how he doesn't edit his videos. It's insane.
Yeah. Cause he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He records them on live streams now. It's kind of brilliant. So, but everybody does things differently. I started out live streaming, so that kind of set up the channel within the algorithm for live stream, so it's more used to it than possibly other channels. I'm not sure. Can't say how they react, but yeah, I think it's really good. After I do a video, I don't bug Garrett or Perry for a couple days. Just like let them chill, and that way we have a good balance. But when we do get to working on a video or a live stream, it's go time, and you could be working 2 hours, 3 hours, or 14, or 16, or an entire day. But they know that, and they're fine with it because the trade-off is, hey, I get a couple 3 days, sometimes a week of just nothing. So, I don't know. I'm not a micromanager, am I? I'm not bugging you guys.
God, I usually have to bother you if I need something.
Yeah, I kind of like. Well, you guys are really self-motivated. That's pretty important. I saw Shad, go check out a video. Shad, if you're in kind of the Melbourne area of Australia, he's looking for an in-house editor, which means you need to be able to go to work. You got to be kind of close, and he makes that crystal clear. He can't do anything. He have an employee. But he was talking about, self-motivators. I am blessed with self-motivators. All three of you.
Worked out somehow. It's great.
Just completely lucky. It was so hard to find those at the comic store, you wouldn't even know. I think out of the 10 employees I hired at the comic store, 4 of them were self-motivators. Like really, really fucking great. 2 of them were made managers immediately because they were so good at it. The other ones, it's like I had to always, I hate, some people like this, I fucking hate telling people what to do and then repeating myself like over. I mean, I will in the live stream, but like instructions, I can't stand it. And I don't have to do it at all with these guys. So I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
Josh Kelsey, who said something last night on Forbidden Frontier. So you can type the letters other than your name, Josh. But just drops $19.99, walks away like he always does. He's Chad. Duke Devil 95 has given 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. Thank you, brother. The Rational Workforce for $20 says, Boston writer from X here. Congrats on 10 years. You inspire me to start my own channel, The Rational Workforce. Oh, I like that name. So I can push back on cancel culture and how it impacts the workforce. That's a great idea for a channel. Absolutely. If that's your passion, thank you and keep crushing it. Thank you. And I love hearing that. That was great when I was streaming with the vets. And I mean, it's surreal, and I'm grateful for the praise, but I'm glad if anything comes out of this, it like inspired you to start this hobby, and you're having fun hanging out with your friends, and it's becomes a regular thing in your life. That's what Hollywood is scared to death of, by the way. I have Tom Hanks basically saying this in a couple of my strike videos. To reset it real quick, Tom Hanks is being interviewed about the strike, and he's like, well, I can't say a lot because I'm more of a producer. I'm a producer, and this was before the actors got in. So he's all, I'm more of a producer right now. But what I can say is there's, and he goes on about the strike, and he absolutely, he showed the writers respect like he probably had to because he was forced to by certain unions, which is why I hate unions. It's like having another boss. But he basically, long story short, he said there's a lot of competition out there. And he mentioned specifically YouTube. And he said, YouTube's free. We don't have to pay for that streaming service. And they can entertain each other. And that's what that was my mantra throughout all of my strike videos is we will just entertain each other. Don't really shit. I don't give a shit. All the fucking reply guys, reply they thems on Twitter, like, what are you gonna do if there's no Hollywood to talk about? I don't know. There'll always be something to talk about. I don't concern myself with that at all. I'll just do FNT. We'll just bullshit for 2 hours or 3 or 4. I don't worry about it at all. We made it through COVID. We'll find a way. But we'll find ways to entertain each other. And what the Rational Workforce just said is like, I'm making a channel that's just fighting back against cancel culture, which is another form of breaking the narrative, which is what, in a way, all of you are doing. You are keeping the, I don't want to say keeping the narrative in check, because we don't want narratives. We want to break them. We want to destroy them. We want to shatter them. What we want to bring back is this thing called the truth. And it might suck sometimes. The truth might suck, but it's the truth. There is no my truth. There is no your truth. There is the truth. And, and that's why it's important to be really upfront. Like most of what I do, obviously, is opinion. It's opinion. If I'm bringing up stuff, it's usually things I have read in the access media or the media, or I try to cite that. I try to use what people actually say. I try to find video of them saying it so I can see the context. I also, if I see a video clip, I will watch the entire interview so I can get the context of it. Takes a lot of time, but I think it's really important, at least for, so I'm not spinning a narrative. A lot of people accuse me of that. I don't care. But I think my approach is like, I'm just on a journey here. I don't roll out of the rack thinking I have all the answers or even some of the answers. I roll out just like, what are we going to find out today? What are we going to learn today? And it doesn't help. That's why when the right-wing pundits were out there sharing that stuff around about Disney Star Wars, and some of it was very old news and really out of context, it's important to point that out. No right-wing pundit, we're not trying to make you look bad. You made yourself look bad by not doing the work. or your underlings didn't do the work, or you didn't listen to your underlings that you refer to them. I wouldn't refer to them like that. That probably tried to tell you and you ignored it. I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter. But if, especially since some of the right-wing pundits really get on the news for not getting things right and not doing the research, and then they're doing it too. So it's all about and you know what? If I fuck up, keep me in check. That's fine. That's good.
Mhm.
That's good. Tiger King for $20. Congrats on 10 years, Gary. It was cool meeting you at the 35er and LA Comic-Con. Keep up the great work. Hail Door Slayer. I am the Door Slayer. Tiger King. Thank you for the $20. It was great meeting you too. That was fun. Our little impromptu, the 30 diver.
That was a cute bar.
Yeah, it's filled with god awful Dodger shit everywhere, but the bar is fine. As a Padre fan, it's kind of a nightmare walking in there, but and then on top of that, it's a bar. I don't drink. Like the only thing I would consider drinking at a bar, and I won't now, would be like a sugar-free Red Bull, and they didn't even have that. They had some they had like some monster, which is like it's like goat piss mixed with like the last piss of a dead man.
Fruity.
That doesn't even describe how bad it is. I'm just trying to get you there. Studio 22 podcast for $30 says congrats on 10 years. Thank you. No, like I hate California. I saw Chrissy and Lila. They went to the zoo with Star Wars girl.
with
And I'm
Anna.
seeing
That
them
was
like
so
go like
cute.
all around my hometown, and I'm like, I don't miss any of it. I don't miss it at all. Weather's nice. And the one thing I say about California is your prison has the most beautiful weather. It's still in California, but there's pockets of it that are nice, and one of them is Pasadena. Pasadena's pretty chill. It's a nice place to visit. Wouldn't want to live there. No way. Zion 42 for $19.99. Thank you. You came on my radar when you were doing a recap of Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 3. Whoa, that was 2017. That was early 2017. Was looking for why I didn't like it. I had always liked Star Trek, and like you with Star Wars The Force Awakens, I was questioning if it was me, and you were interacting with the chat. I was. Oh, there was... it was a lot easier back then. But I went live and I hated it. And it was because it just wasn't Star Trek. And Sonequa Martin Green is not a great actor, but like her being a captain of a starship in Star Trek, like, okay. I had no problem with that. No Star Trek fan. Not a single fucking Star Trek fan had a problem with a black woman being a captain of it. They did it already. It was brief, but they did it. It's Star Trek. We're like, yeah, who cares? We have a problem making her space Jesus and usurping other people's stories and being the problem with, and Sonequa Martin Green should have fought against this. Because it could have changed Star Trek. It would have been maybe a little better. I had no faith because Alex Kurtzman's a fucking hack. But making her make her a character that we could like, but who cares? No, what people mainly had a problem with, killing Han Solo and fucking over Luke Skywalker. That's what people had a problem with. And it was fighting these fucking narratives that these fans hate women and they're racist. And it's like, well, what you're talking about Star Trek fans here. Star Trek fans. Okay. Not even Star Wars fans. Star Trek fans. You're calling them racist because there's that huge Ku Klux Klan fucking contingent of Star Trek fans. That, you know what? Their favorite part was when Kirk kissed Uhura. They had a watch party back in the 60s with their little pointy hats on. Now get the fuck out of here. I don't know if Drinker's still out there, but I saw his response to R&B's tweet. Uhura was fucking hot, okay?
Oh, that picture?
Oh.
She looked really good.
She was hot. Every kid who watched Star Trek knew she was hot. She was hot. Bookmark for 25 British pounds. Proper money. Congratulations on a decade. Here's to another. Cheers. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Dakota Stanton for $20. Been watching since 2016. Yes, you have. Oh, The Gifted. I remember The Gifted. The X-Men show reviews. Congrats, Gary. Thank you. Thanks for sticking. I don't even remember those reviews. Like, you know what? There were some parts of that show I actually liked. There were. It didn't make it. But, yeah, it's hard to believe. Probably most of you are like, what? What's The Gifted? It was an X-Men show on Fox with this stupid fucking name. Like, hey, let's have an X-Men show and not call it X-Men. You could call it X-Men The Gifted.
Oh.
And it's
Yeah,
got,
never heard of that.
what's his name from True Blood? It's Suki. Suki. He's in it. And, Amy Acker's in it. From Angel. Yeah, it had some pretty interesting stuff for a little while. I mean, the 2016 stuff was in there too, but I mean, I didn't totally hate the show, but it wasn't good. it was just weird. It was weird, but it was in that little brief amount of time where Fox kind of figured out the X-Men for a minute. Like, X-Men First Class. We got X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past, Deadpool, and the first 2 seasons of Legion are probably the best X-Men. I mean, Singer's X-Men 2 and X-Men, those were good too. But I mean, like, really, other than, hey, we put on Hollywood's version of an X-Men and it didn't totally suck because we liked the cast, although it wasn't comic accurate at all. And it was their first try, and I think people's expectations were lower. But once Fox had it and then kind of fucked it up, they kind of refigured it out. And for a brief little pocket of time, we got some really entertaining shit that Marvel will never equal. Ever, ever, ever equal. I mean, the best thing they did was Deadpool. And for me to say that is tough because you don't know that X-Ray Girl while you're laughing at Super Chats. I don't like Deadpool, the comic character. I don't. I think it's a Deathstroke ripoff, fourth wall breaking stuff. I think it's good for comic relief. Reading comic after comic of that just gets fucking tiresome, and it does for the fandom too. Deadpool would come and go. I mean, props on Rob Liefeld. Seems like a really cool guy. Worst artist of the whole Image group still, but seems like a pretty good guy. And props on him for creating the one guy who created the character that just became iconic, and one of the very few new Marvel creations that kind of broke out and became iconic. I know a lot of people like him, but just never liked him very much as a comic character. That being said, fucking love the movie. Absolutely love that movie. That was great. It's got Gina in it. Gina Carano. Have you seen Deadpool, X-Ray Girl?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I have. But that's just because Ryan Reynolds is in it. He's so beautiful.
No, it is a great, great movie. Don't get me wrong. One of the best superhero movies ever made. And they got Colossus right. I was like, oh shit. Look at that. Proper Colossus. Ozymandias. I did that long because there's a capital S. 21 for $21.94. Gary, my man, happy 10th. Here is my first donation. Couldn't be happier that it's on such a special occasion. Well, thank you. We will not be gentle. Wait. And there,
I will be.
Oh, I won't be.
That's before he said, or that's after he said you're boring.
You're boring. If you wonder what that sound is, that is as literally playing a video game He called it his war cry, but the video game scared him, and he sounded like a little girl.
Yeah.
You should see the clip of that. It's fucking funny because the look on his face is even better. Maybe we should get the video clip of that.
Okay. I'll see if I can find it.
It's been on hoping for another 10 years. Party time. And this is my idea of a party. My idea of a party is hanging out with my friends and talking and drinking coffee. Metalhead Madman for $20 says, "Hey Gary, you done plenty of nooners, but have you done any neuters? LOL." I don't talk about that. We don't talk about it. Maybe Gavin did. Valiant Renegade. Oh, big YouTuber Valiant Renegade,
Hi.
who I guess is gonna. You're gonna be at MegaCon. I heard you're gonna be at MegaCon, so
Yes.
now you got to be there because I said so. $49.99. Happy 10 years, you glorious bastard. See you in Orlando. Fuck yeah. I can't wait to
Hell
see
yeah.
you. That's going to be fun. Orlando's going to be fun. Orlando is going to be fun. Jake Hunt. Jake Hunt. Jake Hunt.
You're a cunt.
I love that. I don't know who did that. That is so wonderful. Jake Hunt for $19.99 says, "Hail Gary." It says, "Hail Gray" and chat, but I think it's Gary. You know what? It's better than forgetting the R. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why a lot of Garys put double R in their name, even though it sounds like Cecil saying my name.
Gary.
Gary. Hey, Gary.
Gary.
Anybody from New York calls me Gary. All right.
Gary. Oh.
I had a neighbor when I was a little kid who was that whole family was from Jersey, so they'd always call me Gary. It's Gary. 2 R's, 1 R. It's supposed to be 1 R. I'm starting my physical media collection. Oh, good. I want to enjoy my 4K Lord of the Rings extended movies to the fullest. My current Sony player freezes a lot. What 4K Blu-rayer would you recommend? I got to figure out what we have. So my home theater, I will get that answer for you. Let's see if, hang on.
Does the PlayStation play in 4K? Or the Xbox?
The PlayStation 5, maybe.
I
But
don't
I
know.
would get a specific player. Let me see if what about LegalZoom?
I just read reviews a lot,
No,
and I
I'm
Google
sorry,
everything.
Uh, I-
Okay.
Let's see
People
if
are
she'll
saying
answer.
PlayStation does.
It probably
PS5
does.
play 4K.
I'd get a dedicated player. Mine, I do believe, is Sony. I just don't know what kind of Sony it is. I've never had a freezing problem. Is it only happening with that disc? Because it could be the disc.
Oh, that'd be sad.
That would be sad. But usually I bought my own stuff, and I would set up my own surround system. It's very, as a man, I had to do that. I wasn't going to hire people to do that. But as a gift for moving and all this stuff, Melissa, it was basically like my birthday present. She set up a media room with we've got like little popcorn things and a couch, and it's a theater. Like it's a little mini theater, and it's the screen is huge. I can't even remember. 125 inches. It's fucking massive. It's big. Sound is perfect. And I haven't had a problem. The only thing that's a bummer about that is I can't fix it now. Like I'm afraid I'll fuck something up, so we'd have to call somebody in, which is just holy shit. I don't know if I could do that as a grown man. I don't know if could you help me set up my audio system? So I'd probably fuck up just trying to figure it out myself. But all the wiring's like in the walls now and stuff. I'll find out if Mel's out there and she can come answer. George Orwell for $19.99. Happy 10th anniversary, Gary. Look forward to many more. Cheers. Thank you. Mistwolf TR for $200. Czechoslovakian pesos. I bonded with my dad over Star Wars. He took me to all the prequel openings. Good dad. We went to TFA opening together. Coming down the escalator from the theater, he said, "How could they kill Han?" Never went to see Star Wars after that. I wouldn't either. Like, I don't care how much Harrison Ford wanted that. Have him, like, if he doesn't want to be in it anymore, have him ride off into the sunset. Or at least, if you're going to kill him, make it epic. Not, I'm going to walk into a fucking lightsaber. Jar Jar's a hack, and I'm glad his career's fucking ruined. TX Lib for $19.99. Hail! Been here since House of the Dragon. Hail! Love that. Can't wait for it to come back. You inspired me to start making videos since entertainment is in the gutter nowadays. Got my first 90,000 view video after 5 videos. That's awesome. And now I'm motivated. If I can get a shout out, I'd appreciate it. What's the name of it? Is it TX Lib? What's the name of your channel? Is that it? X-Ray Girl?
I think it's TX Lib, unless
TX LIB. TX Lib. Was it a House of the Dragon video? Yeah, getting 90. Like we did George's first live stream yesterday, and it's fucking incredible how fast he grew. He got shout outs in the beginning, but we've talked about this a million times. That helps you get to like 1,000, but they don't really help after that. They start to help. Is that a good way to put it? They can get some people there, but you got to keep them there. It's up to me to keep them there when I got shout outs. It's up to you to keep them there. And that's incredible. That's great. Because I didn't have a 100,000 view video for years and years. I mean, I haven't been YouTubing for 10 years. There's been a channel for 10 years. I've been podcasting for 10 years, but I've only been like really like YouTubing in the sense of I make videos like late 2018. Lynn Jones. What's up, Lynn, for $20? Hail, Lynn.
Yeah. Hail to you.
Congrats on 10 years from Kelly and me. Say hi to Kelly. Looking forward to another 10. They're a great couple. Lynn Jones is the boss and wife of comic book legend Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones. Thank you, Lynn. She's awesome. David Harvey has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for 50. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I'm going to have to close this. I think I just accidentally went into an old one. Hang on. I fucking boomered. I boomered your list, X-Ray Girl. Hang on. Let me I'll just go back in. I don't know what I did.
I think you might have
something and
the
the list
bottom.
just went poof, gone. I'm like, man.
The
you know
boomer
what? I'm
boomers
just gonna
again.
roll with it today. The boomer is strong today. It is strong.
It's strong within this one.
Like, what happened? I don't know. We've got Abominable Vibes on the Streamlabs side for $20. Hail. Congrats on making it a decade. Have you seen the new Babylon 5 movie yet? Is it the reboot still happening? Maybe the reboot is still happening. I have not watched the movie yet because I just got, like, they put it in Blu-ray now. So Babylon 5 the complete season's in Blu-ray. So I wanted to watch it all again. And usually around this time of year, I watch Babylon 5. And just to let you know, somebody like for years was trying to talk me and Az to watch it. So we watched it we didn't watch it together, but we at the same pace. Fucking loved it. Absolutely fell in love with it. And I'll admit, when it was coming out, I resisted it because I was a fucking Star Trek snob. I'm like, it's just a DS9 ripoff. Fuck this shit. You know, and I love them both. I think whether one idea was taken from another doesn't really fucking matter. They both were great. So there you go. Win-win for the fandom. Red Strider, $20.99 for $20 says, "Hail, Gary and the Fellowship. I met you at Matsuri in 2022. Was inspired to start my own channel and even found my own little streaming community. We're all part of the same family who just want good stories to love again. Yep. That's ultimately, you know what? If it won't happen, but I would like nothing more than just to have like 5 or 6 great shows to talk about. We get 20 great movies to talk about of all different genres and types. That'd be fucking awesome. Was there good stuff last year? Absolutely, because they actually started releasing stuff again. But it's if we count shows and movies collectively, it's 1 in 30. It's 1 in 30. I think I might be low on that estimate, but we get one decent thing out of 30 for every 30 pieces of shit. Carmen VT for $20. Congratulations on 10 years. Found you mid-2023. Been amazing. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. You're new. See, this is why I repeat myself a lot. It's also because I'm senile. Thank you, Gary, for all you've done for the geek nerd community. I felt alone thinking how bad mainstream entertainment is destroying legacy stories. In the words of the great Paul Atreides, Paul Atreides' father, it is the sleeper has awakened. The sleeper has awakened. That's probably going to be pretty good. March 1st, so we're not too far away from that, a couple months away from Dune 2. Before that, we get Madam Web. I'm sure that's going to just break box office records all the wrong way. Smooth the DJ has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. Smooth, you didn't have to do that. Oh, shit. The Critical Drinker for $50. I'm going to have to get you back for this. 50 Scottish pesos. 50 Scottish pesos says, congrats on 10 years, both of YouTube and sobriety, dude. Thanks, brother. Love you, man. Naturally, I cannot condone the latter, but respect all the same. Drinker, there's always a seat for you, buddy. There's always a seat for you anytime you want to go to a meeting with me. They could be fun. Dave Chandler has gifted 20 Nerdrotic memberships for $100. By the way, thank you, Dave, for being so generous and helping all those members so I can watch Echo with some company. I'm not sure you probably feel good about that right now. No, thank you, brother. And Drinker, please subscribe to the Critical Drinker. Really good, underrated channel. Really underrated channel. And he's also he is also the single most legitimate film critic right now. The number one critic is the Critical Drinker. Not even close. Number one. Vets Talking for $19.99. So surreal to see you celebrating 10 years on YouTube just 2 days after you were on the Vets Talking to celebrate our 1 year. Also, happy you could see that we are just as dysfunctional. Congrats on 10 years of YouTube and sobriety. Thank you. Oh, I had no doubt you were dysfunctional. And I was not disappointed. And I felt at home. I did. Carrie Lawson for $19.99 to the next 10 years. Cheers. There were Carrie, X-Ray Girl, everybody out there. There were 10 years ago, it was just about getting past the next 10 minutes. There was a lot of days filled with a lot of hours. It was just about I need to go 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. And it gets better. It gets better because, man, it sucked. I can't even put into words how much it sucked. But
It's the same with like eating. If you have a problem with eating or exercising, just get to the next minute and the next minute and the next minute.
It becomes a habit after that. Like, I can't imagine not going to the gym. And I think it's like I now have some home gym stuff because I go to Planet Fitness. I go to Planet Fitness because it's convenient. And it's also empty in the middle of the day. And it's not filled with a bunch of chicks filming themselves. And it's just regular people, right? So, but I've got some stuff at home now that I want to use at home, but I think it's really important, especially if you're in recovery. Even if you have a home gym, don't use it. Do not use the home gym. Sign up to a gym, Planet Fitness, something affordable, whatever, and make it a habit to make it a ritual to get up, put on your gym clothes, have a cup of coffee or whatever, go to the gym, and make it. Even if you're just gonna fucking walk on a treadmill, and there's nothing wrong with that for 30 minutes, do that. That's a great habit. It's good for your brain, and then like. Get in that habit and do it until it becomes a habit, until where I can't imagine not doing it. Then maybe you can go to the home equipment. I think the home equipment is too easy. That's easier to blow off than going to the gym. That in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
The home stuff is way easier to blow off than going to the gym. It shouldn't be, but it is. Brett Allard has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. Thank you. Echo, tomorrow night, late. It's going to be late, so we'll get a lot of Australians. Every time we're like at 10 or 11, we get a lot of Australians, which is great. But it'll be like midnight or something like that, because I think it airs 8 here. And we're only doing the last 2 episodes. Hopefully they're 20 minutes. I hope they're like cartoon length.
The shorter, the better.
The shorter, the better.
And I never usually say that.
No, you're a size queen. Smooth the DJ for 50 euros. Thank you, Smooth. 10 years, huh? Kind of wish I found your channel 5 years ago. Oh, well. Here's to many more. Much love to you, brother. Hail to the chat. The 199 and the 9.9, ladies.
Hey.
Go tit. And God fucking speed. Yes. Hail Razor. That's Critical Drinker, best critic on YouTube, best political commentator, Razor Fist. Razor Fist. Also, I would say best comic book critic. He does do comic book reviews, and he does a lot of background and stuff. He does. There's some great videos out there. So I would say one of the best comic book critics. Huge fan of The Shadow. The Shadow I liked. I liked The Shadow, but I wasn't that into The Shadow until I started watching Razor Fist videos. Now, not only am I into The Shadow, Nerdrotic Jr. is into The Shadow and getting into Pulp and stuff. And Pulp was fucking great. Just great. Now, I was a fan of Conan. I've always been a fan of Conan, which comes from the Pulp era as well. But, yeah, Shadow's great. And, of course, as Razor pointed out in his video, The Shadow was the biggest, most popular superhero by far for a long time. Wonder why they haven't brought them back. Oh, because The Shadow's kind of based. That's why. Found you after episode 1 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, looking for why I hated it. Thanks for the ride, brother. Says Brian Evans for $20. If I look back, when I look back to season 8, I didn't hate the first episode. I'm like, okay, they're setting some more stuff up, but all right. And then by episode 2, when the biggest thing to talk about was little Arya showing her tits. Some people, there were people going back and forth in the chat on that one, and I stand firmly at I didn't need to fucking see them. She was over 18. It was perfectly legal, but it's just not anything I needed to see. I just didn't need to see it. And in the context of the story, in the medieval setting, she was way older than age of. Well, there was no age of consent, but way old. She was of age. Still didn't need to see it. But then episode 3 happened. What family was it again? It was, my God, my brain is farting now. But the end of the episode I liked when Tormund got there and they saw that the White Walkers had been there and all the body parts were in the spiral. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And that was the last time I said that for Game of Thrones. Ever. Thanks, Brian Evans. Helen Morgan for 50 British pounds. That's proper money. Congratulations on 10 years. Thank you, Helen. I'm fairly new to the channel, but loving it. I look forward to Friday Night Tights every week. It never fails to make me laugh. Great way to end the working week. Thank you. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
I know you're laughing at us, and we are completely okay with that. Not laughing with us, laughing at us, and we deserve it. Especially as. How do I say this name?
Kuhaku.
Kuhaku. Well, you're Asian. You could pronounce this stuff. I can't. For 1999 British pounds. Dude, I was on. Quick. Hail the fellowship. Congrats to 10 years, Gary, and all of the team at Nerdrotic. It makes my day tuning in and hearing and seeing common sense, and it makes me hopeful for the future. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? You guys do the same for us. It's reciprocal. Believe me. So Az and I were on. I jumped on the Film Threat Golden Globe watch party last night for like the last hour after our marathon and awesome Forbidden Frontier with Luke Caverns. That was a good show last night.
It was so fun.
Went almost 4 hours. And I jump on, and like Az and I just immediately started getting fucking racist. It was so funny with the jokes, like because all the white people were winning. But it was Alan. It was Alan who said, "The white people." I quote tweeted him. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what Alan Ng said. No, I quote tweeted him. It says, "White people had a supreme night on the Golden Globes."
Oh no!
Oh, and then K-Ray girl, Kira, but she was calling herself K-Ray girl. When I got in there, I'm like, "What's up, X-Ray girl?" And then Polly, the Latino slant, started doing a cracker count of how many white people were winning.
Oh,
and then
no.
she started eating crackers. And it just descended at that point. It was so fucking good. And that's the kind of, like, nobody's getting fucking upset. We were just having a good time. But the two women who were there are like, they host a Hollywood show. They're like hosts, like real life hosts. And Az and I just didn't care. We were going at, it was pretty fun. And Chris, of course, I was repeating bad jokes from Chris that he had made earlier on when I wasn't there. So it's almost like finishing your sentences. I mean, it's super gay, but it was a good live stream. It was fun to be there.
Very nice. One day I'll meet K-Ray girl.
Yeah, if we ever go to LA again. Oh, LA Comic Con probably. Matthew Hammond for $19.99. Thank you, Matthew. I'm sorry that the woke people destroyed all of your favorite franchises. You have 10 seasons of Stargate SG-1. Oh, they just haven't gotten around to it, Matthew.
Yeah.
And 5 seasons of Stargate Atlantis to enjoy. They figure out SG-1 in the second half of season 1. That's usually when they figure out a show. I have no problem with. I've seen a lot of season 1s, Matthew. I don't have a problem with Stargate season 1. There's like a couple of wacky episodes, but I like Buffy season 1. It's wacky. It's got one of the better villains, but it's wacky. Moab Jam Audio's gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you very much. Big Worm for 20 says, "Hail Gary, hail chat, hail the fellowship. Found you back in Discovery season 2. Oh, I found that I wasn't crazy. New Trek was trash. Star Wars was trash, but I found tons of great stuff because of you and others. 10 more years. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper, brother." We found each other. You know, Drinker referred to this on Twitter. Like when the Ray movie comes out, it's going to launch 1,000 YouTube careers. And like when Disney, you know what entertainment Disney Star Wars provides now it's unintentional entertainment. They make a dumb move, or I could just say a move. They make an announcement. They make a move. It's just naturally dumb. It's just naturally the wrong thing to do, but it spawns so much great YouTube content. So once I saw that going around, I'm like, oh, we're going to get some good videos. And I get all, and usually like my approach, if I'm going to make a video on the same subject that somebody else is, I usually make my video first and then I watch everybody's videos, right? So I don't like borrow any ideas. That's pretty tough if you're on Twitter, through osmosis, or at least that, if I hear something from Razorfist, I'll say I heard it from Razorfist. If I say something from the Critical Drinker, I'll say I heard it from the Critical Drinker. Sometimes I can't remember, and I apologize for that. But I try to like give credit, like the title of my video, Disney, Star Wars, Death by Mary Suicide. That comes from Cecil. Hail Cecil. And I asked, and he said I could have it. I said I'm going to use that, but I'll give you credit. He's all, you can have it, dude. So I'm all, cheers. But hail Cecil for coming up with that, because it's the laughs that are more important. No, it's we got, like, Drinker made a great video on it, and so did many others. So it's I love it. I freaking love it. It's like, oh well, this will be a piece of shit, but I got about 4 hours of content on YouTube I can watch at my leisure on this. DRH888 for 500 Danish krona. 500. Can't think of a dad joke. Can you come up with a funny one? No, I can't. I'm not like Chrissy. I wish I could.
My dad, Alan?
Yeah.
He left me.
He left you?
That's it. I laugh at it.
See, I could follow that up with a joke.
Go ahead.
No, I can't.
Aw.
I can't. I'm trying to be nice. Nah.
I was going to say, what?
Nah, I won't do it.
Ah, dang it.
No. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. It would be. It's
feels
really
weird.
really bad. Okay. Angmar WK for $19.99. Happy 10th anniversary, Gary. Wish you the very best. First timer. First time I came across your stream, I thought you were the guy that played Chunk in the Goonies. Thank you for creating a space that feels like a hangout amongst friends. Cheers. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks to the chat. The chat does like their own separate show, and it's equally part of the show. That's why it kills me. I've bitched to YouTube, and I don't know if anybody's mentioned it to their partner managers, but I have multiple times. And if much bigger YouTubers would do it, I think it was changed. They have the technology to keep the chat. If you have to, clip a thing out for copyright strike, anytime you make any change to your live stream, it just blanks the chat. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. So, they have the ability to keep the chat up. So I've made it my personal mission to get that fixed, because I fucking hate losing the chat for Friday Night Tights. If we have to cut out a copyright clip or we're blocked or something like that, you snip it out. They're much faster at it. It doesn't take like 24 hours anymore. It takes like a couple hours. But then the chat's gone. Vapor Trails for $49.99. The amount of victory in your life is inspirational to see how much things can turn around. Cheers. I appreciate that. Overall, haven't had a lot of victory in my life. But the overcoming stuff, the victories taste that much sweeter, because I know what it's like to lose. Like everything. I am deeply familiar with loss. So it makes it that much sweeter and that much more worth it. and it's something worth fighting for. And you know, I think I'm going to go old man yelling at clouds. I think that's what a lot of the very fucked up people we're seeing, usually on social media and Twitter, a very small amount of the population, not the real world, but there's a lot of broken youth from COVID, from our teachers filling their heads full of bullshit, bad parenting, and a general lack of meaning, and parents keeping their kids and teachers keeping their kids. And now Hollywood is pushing this narrative. The mainstream media, Silicon Valley is pushing the narrative of meritocracy is patriarchal and evil. No, that's how we learn. Losing is how we learn. Falling flat in our face, sometimes multiple times, is how we learn. It's important. And it sucks. I'm a dad. I don't want to see my kid hurt or fail or fall on his ass, but like that needs to happen. Strongest thing my dad ever did was let me go. Booted me out of the house, did not look back. That was the strongest thing my dad did. Is it because he didn't care? No, it's because he did. I'm sure it wasn't fun watching his son like just completely self-destruct and try to kill himself. But that, I mean, my dad was old school. That's what, you know, it's like, all right, you got this shit figured out. Go figure it out. Best thing my dad ever did. Little Buck, 187 for 1999. First time catching a stream live. Congrats on the 10 years. Love listening to you guys at work. Hail to the fellowship. Hail to you. Hail to the working men and women out there, as Jeremy says. Sip of water for the working man and woman. Hell yeah. That was me. Right? You know, like I came from chats. That's where I came from. You know, Nina mentioned that last time, that she came from like our sphere's chat, but I came from the chat. I've known Comics Division in the YouTube sphere the longest, because Comics Division and I became friends in Diversity in Comics in Zach's live streams when he did live streams. And I love comics. Even Captain Cummings, when he was still doing stuff and talking about comics, but way back in the day, Comics Division and I were always in the chat. Always in the chat. So yeah. And I was again. I sent Tug. Tug says this. I sent Tug his first super chat.
What?
Yep. And I sent Yellow Flash. It wasn't his first, but it was like in his first 10. Because I remember when he got monetized, and I sent them their first super chat to support those guys. Because they were great, lots of fun. They knew their comic books. It was fun. Little Tug would bring on his daughter's probably older now, but like he'd bring on his little daughter to talk once in a while. Really cute, you know. Yeah, it was fun. I loved Zach doesn't like live streaming because I love Richard. I really do. I still watch all of his videos. I love Richard. Little neurotic, you know. So am I. You know, neurotic recognizes neurotic. It does. Not nerdrotic, neurotic. Not erotic, neurotic. Lasled for 1999. Congratulations on 10 years in all aspects of your life and YouTube. I first saw you on the High Council. Oh my God, yeah, with Jeremy, EVS, and Jeff from World Class Bullshitters. Thank you for the fellowship, for your opinions, and your hope. Cheers. That was many moons ago. I had just hit 40,000 subscribers. I think they just announced Robert Pattinson as Batman, and we roasted him for like an hour, I think. I think it was that show. Maybe it was on another. I remember being on the High Council and roasting Robert Pattinson. That was pretty fun. We were just looking up pictures of him in a dress. You know what? He wasn't the worst thing in the Batman, okay? I'll say that. He's not anywhere near my favorite Batman. I think if he bulked up a little more, he could be a good Batman, but he won't. But I think he should. I think if he bulked up, he doesn't have to, like, Batman does not have to be fucking, you know, like Reacher, okay?
Like Christian Bale body.
Yeah, just be in
wise.
shape. I just think if he bulked up a little bit more, but he's not even in my top 3 Batman at all. And the ending of that movie fucking sucked. The beginning, the first 15 minutes, chef's kiss. Love it. Absolutely love the first 15, 20 minutes of that movie. And the soundtrack is great. I own it. Electrify 928 for $10. Remember 10 10 3 2 1 Damn World. I do. I remember Y2K too. People really thought that was a thing. You know who didn't? Me. I never thought that would be a thing. Fear the Tardo for $5. Oh, we love Fear the Tardo. Happy birthday, Reggie. Look old for 10. That okay, Tardo, that age mentally. So still can be Reggie's friend. Lock it in, yay.
Yay!
I don't know why he calls me Reggie, but whatever. I mean, I'm the fact that
Better
he can
than Gary.
the fact that he can type is good. Better than Gary. Bras Monkey it's bras, not like braziers.
Bras.
Or is it braziers? Is it braziers? I don't know. Porn aficionados? Is it braziers? I don't know.
Brazier.
Bras Monkey for $10. Happy 10th anniversary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Matthew Hammond for $4.99. It is appropriate that Gary is late to his own anniversary and the volume is muted. And like honestly wasn't trying to do it. Actually, that was a authentic boomerang on my side. You know, if you got to be good at something, be good at fucking up. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Culture Casino for 50. Love you, brother. Congrats. Not sure I'll be around in 6 more years. Well, neither am I. I don't know if I'll be around in tomorrow. But God willing, you and I are still here yelling at kids on our lawns. Yeah, get the fuck up. Especially, you know what's worse? Culture Casino is both you and I. Well, I do have a real lawn in front, but we're yelling at them to get off our fake lawns. That makes it even better, even more bitter. Get off my lawn. It's not real, old man. I don't give a shit. Get off. Keep it up so I can keep riding your coattails. Hi, X-Ray Girl.
Hi.
Right away. Right away. It's fine. Oh, I saw your lettering in your thumbnail. Well done. Do it. Listen, when I developed the comic store, when I developed this channel, when I develop anything creativity, I need inspiration. And that's what I mean, again, unsolicited advice just from my point of view as one guy who creates content creator who's like, honestly, I'll say approaching 1 million. I'm like on the lower, we'll say lower middle class income of YouTube in the grand scheme of things, right? Because there's Mr. Beast and there's PewDiePie and there's fucking huge channels. I'll never achieve that kind of growth. Totally cool with it. But I draw inspiration. So what inspired the one word on my thumbnail? Charlie from Emergency Awesome. He used to do it. He used to put like, what the fuck? I'm like, that looks good. I changed it by framing it differently. So what inspired my thumbnails? Well, you frame it like an interview. If you've ever been to, if you've ever studied to be a videographer or a cinematographer, but if you've ever set up an interview, you have somebody, this is why I'm blocked this way, right? I'm off to one side, and you usually want to be off to this, you want to be talking that way. So if I sat over here, I'd be talking that way, and you want me over on the other side. So that's how I block my thumbnails. So I put them off the side. The reason I did that is because remember when YouTube used to just put a big old fucking play button in the middle of your thumbnail, and it'd be huge, and then they put the big timestamp on the bottom. So I put a word over that. That's how it started. What Perry started doing is just emulating my thumbnails and then turning them into something much better. But I used to my thumbnail approach was, I want to have somebody making the worst facial expression possible. If it's bad, right? If it's good, I try to find the most iconic shot. If it's bad, I look for Jody cringing, somebody like half blinking or something like that. It's pretty easy to do. Screen cap it, boom. That was my thumbnail. It's turned into something else since then, but that's how it started. So I got my inspiration from freaking Emergency Awesome on the one word. You just like, hey, that's a really good idea. You know, and you don't want to like totally rip it off, but it's like I want to do something like that. So that's, you know, you just make it a little different, make it your own. Everybody does it on YouTube. I don't even know. I'm sure somebody has an answer in the chat. I don't know who started the type of editing I do. I started editing more and more, but I saw it in drinkers videos. I saw it in I can't even really remember. Oh, I saw it in like not Culture War review videos, but normal. I'm like, I just want to start editing more. And quite frankly, it was a necessity in my case because I shoot clips and I fuck up a lot. So you have to edit to cover it up. It's yeah, I don't know. I don't even know who started that on YouTube. Again, the chat might have the answer for that. I do not know. Somebody had to. Happy 10th, Gary. Been a hell of a ride with you so far. Don't ever change, please. Snowflame. Oh, Scottish nerd for 10 British pounds. Remember Snowflame? Snowflame is an actual DC character, X-Ray Girl. It's a DC comic book character. And in a comic book, he did say, cocaine is my god, and I am the instrument of its will.
Oh.
Yep. I would love, you know what? I found one once and didn't buy it, and I regret it ever since. There was a custom-made Mego Snowflame, and I should have fucking bought it. Scottish nerd, thank you. Somebody did send me a mini-mate. So a mini-mate is like a Lego guy, but they're called mini-mates. Mini-mates were big in the early mid 2000s. I sold the shit out of them. I have a bunch of Doctor Who versions of mini-mates. But mini-mates, somebody sent me a Snowflame mini-mate. I still have it. Spam Fritters for 10 British pounds. Happy 10th dual anniversary. Yours is a true hero's journey. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate all the compliments, but it's like it's what I had to do. When you get sober, you're supposed to get. When I get sober, I'll use my I statements. I have to get sober for me, and my sobriety has to come before absolutely everything. My wife, my kids, my dogs, my friends, this channel. Sobriety comes first. It's absolutely, because without it, I lose all that shit. It's hard to get your mind around that, especially when you don't feel like you're worth it. So in the beginning, I didn't get sober for me. I did not. And it's not really a way to go. But I got sober for my kids and my wife. That's what I got sober for. And then it became about me. But I didn't think I was worth it. But then it became about me. But so I see the hero's journey, and I know you're being nice. I think it's it's what I'm supposed to do. It's what I'm supposed to. It's like my wife had a great line where I was like really proud of myself. I'm gonna go pick up my kid today, and she's like, "What do you want, a fucking trophy for doing what you're supposed to do, Dad?"
Oh my god. I can see her saying that too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Of course, I answered yes, but but no, that's why it's good to have Mrs. Nerdrotic around. Andrew Montpetit for $10 says, congratulations on the milestone. Here's $1 for every year. Cheers. Hail to the fellowship. Hail to you. Hail to fellowship. Derek Nall for $10. Hey, Gary, congrats. You should have had Brett from Pop Culture Crisis on FNT. He's awesome. And, or you should have. I thought it said should have. It's like, Was something wrong with them? Did we miss Brett? Pulp Culture Crisis on FNT is awesome, and you and him share a similar use and redemption history. Congrats again. Love you, and hail to the fellowship. Well, I have talked to Brett. Brett's the one I hung out with the most when I went to go see Tim. So Brett and I talked a lot at the Tim Pool house, and we will have him on. Well, I think we should have him and Mary on. Brett's awesome, though. Brett is a really nice guy. So Pop Culture Crisis, that's part of the Tim Pool Network, but they have their own channel. And it's a good show. And Brett's True Blue Nerd. And again, very nice guy. Ministry of Wrong Thing for $1.99. For a second, I thought I was Echo. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's right. You were just hearing privileged, and I wanted to make you feel bad for your hearing privilege by completely boomering the first 5 minutes of my live stream, which will be conveniently edited on the re-upload, believe me. Derek Nall for $10 says, hey, Gary, congrats. You should have. Oh, I read that one already.
Oh, I forgot to.
No, it's my fault. I should recognize that I just said his name. Servo. What is this?
Servo.
I gotta speak. Peds. I almost said pedos. What the fuck?
I have no explanation.
I am sorry, Servo Peds. My bad for $5. Can't stay long. Starting my EMT course right now. Oh, good.
Congrats.
Good. Just want to say congratulations to your success and hard work, brother. Semper Fidelis. Hey, congrats on EMT training. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Hope you got a strong stomach. I could never do that.
You see a lot of crazy stuff.
No, but hey, an EMT saved my life. So I love EMTs. I fucking love EMTs. Yeah, my life was saved by, 3 people, actually, if you think about it technically. But 2 times I was dead. So I was resuscitated by an EMT. And then I was resuscitated straight up Pulp Fiction style by my drug dealer's girlfriend.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
thank God.
Hail EMTs. The other time was when I decided to break into a house of a guy who used to be a naval marksman. He competed. He could shoot you between the eyes with a 22 from 100 yards, some crazy like that. I decided to break into that guy's, had a gun pointed at me, and the cop talked him into pointing the gun away. That was the other time my life was saved. Allison Eduardo Coito for 20 Brazilian pesos or dollars. We'll say dollars because that's not Dan Basque. In your epic woke disasters 2023, you ask how Kathleen Kennedy keeps her job. I bet my ass that she also knows all the rotten stuff of Hollywood as possible. Yes. And they can't get rid of her because she's a gunpowder barrel. Hail from Brazil. Hail to you.
Yeah.
I think it's not nepotism because she's not a family member, but I didn't get into it. But I would like everybody to go look on IMDb and see if Kathleen Kennedy's name is attached to any George Lucas Star Wars movie. Just go out and look. Spoilers, you won't find it. She had no connection whatsoever to Star Wars. She knew George. She was more of an associate with Steven Spielberg. They hung out. They were all friends, right? She was a friend. Frank Marshall produced, a prolific producer. She was married to Frank. And you know what? I'm not going to take away, she was part of some movies I loved. I knew her name when I was 12. She was like a rock star to me. Frank Marshall was a rock star to me. Michael Kahn, the editor, rock star to me. These were fucking rock stars. John Williams, of course. Steven Spielberg. Dennis Muren. The special effects guys. Richard Edlund. John Dykstra. These were all names, I knew these names like rock stars when I was a kid. So I knew Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not going to take anything away from her Academy Awards from being a producer who can organize and make deals. But as the head of a studio who has to now make the decisions to delegate the power to make the creative decisions, the buck stops with her. The buck stops with her. She's the worst studio head in the history of Hollywood. And what makes her the worst studio? Did some of her movies make money? Sure, yes. But she killed Star Wars. Fucking killed it. And that takes work. That takes work. Now, ultimately, Bob Iger, who's a coward and a fraud, should have fired her. But they're all trying to preserve their jobs and cover up their legacies and stuff. And you know what they're not thinking about? The investors, the legacy of the company, Walt Disney, George Lucas, because they don't give a fuck. The fans, they don't give a fuck. And you know what? It'll ultimately cost you, because what they forgot is they're in the entertainment business and not into the influence business. They are in the entertainment business. And Star Wars is not a fucking platform. Yes, George Lucas had things in the back of his head about Vietnam and Nazis, and it was basically a moral tale. But ultimately, the themes in Star Wars are heroism, family, redemption. They're not some analogy. Sure, yes, the Ewoks were supposedly an analogy for the Viet Cong. Bad analogy. Just saying, George. But the overall story is a fairy tale. It's fantasy. And that's why it really broke through and became the biggest cinematic intellectual property that will ever be. That will ever be. As far as merchandising and everything else, and George was pretty damn good businessman. Pretty damn good businessman. That helped too. Kathleen Kennedy's fucking awful. We've known that. We've said it for years, and I hope they keep her on for another fucking 10 years at this point. Blue Box K93 for $10. Congratulations on 10 years, Gary. I work in healthcare, and your channel has got me through some really tough times, especially in the early days of the pandemic. Oh, that must have been brutal.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's to another 10 years. Thank you for what you do, Blue Box. I
Cheers.
appreciate it. And cheers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sony V for $10. Happy 10th. Your success is our gain. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. It's because of you guys. Congrats on 10 years. Here's to 10 more. Says TZ Rock for $10. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's go. John L for $1.99. Thumbs up. Super sticker. Thumbs up to you, brother. It's better than a middle finger up. I get those too, though, especially when I'm driving with X-Ray Girl.
Huh?
When she's driving.
You've never been a passenger in my car.
No, and I never will be.
I kind of like that. I like being a passenger.
The only thing I won't like, the only thing I probably fear more is flying in a 737. What's that 737 that just they found all the problems with? The one that depressurized in Portland last couple days, and like,
oh no, that's so scary.
No, Jeremy from the Quartering tweeted about it, and he's not wrong. Like any plane that has multiple problems, I change my flight or cancel it. I think one guy responded like, "It's nice to have cancel your flight money." It's like, I hope you're a kid saying that. I hope you're not like my age saying that, or 30. If you don't have cancel your flight money, don't fly. If you need cancel your flight money or flight money, work more. I was poor. I still flew places when I really fucking had to. But you know what I did most of the time? Didn't go because I didn't have the money. But if I needed to go somewhere, you know what I did? I saved. Got another job.
Traveling is a luxury.
Nice to have change your flight money. Yeah, it is. It is. Mike Hum sells for $2. 10 years and still can't start a stream. LOL. I know, right? It's like that attitude is all over Twitter, so that's why I think it's probably a kid. But fuck if it's an adult. It's like, oh, your mentality is keeping you from having change your flight money. Such a retarded statement, but that's you. That's Twitter. But yeah, if there's a plane that I know has, well, for me, 2 problems is enough. I'm like, I'm not flying on this. No way I'm flying on this. I want to fly on the most reliable plane there is, or I don't fly. Super Mastermind for $5. So 80% of kids cannot read in California. Any language, you got out at a good time. I did. You know, you sit there and you're like, this is my home, right? Especially when I was back in San Diego. I never felt that attachment to San Francisco, but like San Diego's my home. I grew up there with my sister and with all my friends and had the good times and the bad times. I love my hometown. I adore it. It's called Encinitas, California. Lila just shot a picture of recently on her Twitter. She's standing in front of the theater I used to work at, the La Paloma Theater. And many nights hanging out with Melissa in that theater. That's the haunted theater, by the way, X-Ray Girl. This where I had the ghost.
Story.
My ghost story is from that theater. I love it. It's a beautiful town. There's nothing wrong with it. Even now, there's no homeless people there. It's a beautiful beach town. The houses are nice. The weather is great. It's got some of the best beaches in California. It's got Moonlight Beach. It's got D Street. You can go down to Georgia's if you're a surfer. It's just south of Ponto, which has some good surfing as well. It's a great place, but it's in California, and it's not worth, paying $2.5 million, which I would never have, for a McMansion and then just live scraping by day after day. It's like, fuck this. I don't need to do this. And then all my tax money goes to people like Gavin Newsom. Fuck that. And non-gendered toy aisles, or legalizing passing out fucking needles, or decriminalizing shoplifting and turning it into a criminal hellhole. Yeah, I just didn't want to fund that anymore. I know I'm crazy. Weather's great. You know what? Texas gets a little hot in the summer. Winters, really no different than I know there's the occasional freeze, but this winter, no different than the San Diego winter at all. No difference at all. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with saving half my money being somewhere else and not having to worry about it as much. Joel Slayer for $10. As a working class nobody, you've always sort of felt like my voice. So take some of my pesos and keep spreading the good work and fighting the good fight. Cheers, Joel. You are a working man. Great Rush song. Pre-Neil Peart, called The Working Man. That's you. Johnny 718 Bravo for $2. 10 years. Congrats, man. Thank you. Cheers. Sawdog for $10. Hail Gary and X-Ray Goo. Happy anniversary, buddy. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you very much. SJ Almighty for £5 British pounds says, gives me a good job super sticker. Cheers. Horror Amarada. Just rolls off the tongue. I mean, it's easier to say when you haven't had like multiple strokes. But happy anniversary, Gary. I hope we get to enjoy manga more. And is it manga? I'm thinking.
I think so.
It's because if a girl is sending a super chat and she says, "I hope we get to enjoy mange more."
No.
I don't think it's, I mean, it changes the context, okay? So you put that A at the end, and it's manga, all right, instead of mange.
It could go either way, manga or mange. Maybe mange with manga. I don't know.
Shit.
Sorry, Horror.
Horror Amarada and I both enjoy mange, that's all. Not judging. Everybody's welcome here. All right. No, manga more. And thank you for everything. Thank you. You're awesome. Go check out her channel. She's good. She's good people.
She's on Kick.
She's on Kick. There's always that cheap Sidian guy around. Black Aragorn. I love Black Aragorn. He's awesome. Andrew Odede for $4.99. RTD was right. Wheelchair users can't be villains. Also, happy birthday, Stephen Hawking. What a swell guy with no controversy at all. Happy 10th, Gary. Happy. That was also, it's not your 10th anniversary. Thank you. Brickhouse for $10.99. Congratulations on 10 years. Thank you. Graph Web for $2 says, for fuck's sake, hashtag cancel Disney Plus. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty easy. You know how easy it is?
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
That's how easy it is.
Done and done.
Done and done. All right. How you doing, X-Ray Girl? You okay?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good. Yeah.
All right. We're going to get through these. Let's do this. Iron Oxide for $10. Hail, Gary. Here is 10 for 10 years. Wish I could do more. Dude, just being here is fine. Just being here. We love you. Thanks. If you're a lurker, thank you for the super chats. Thank you. Thank you. But if thank you to the Modrotics. But if you're just in the chat, chipping away, if you're a lurker, by the way, lurkers are the vast majority of the audience. Thank you. Thank you. Anything you do is appreciated. Supporting is appreciated. And that's even with just occasionally glancing at the live stream and going, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, if he can do it, anybody can, which is true.
You can smash the like button, though, if you want.
Yeah. Hit that like button. Like, share, and subscribe. How's that Dan Vast count doing?
Haven't looked.
I haven't either.
Usually Lady Gravemaster is the one that does it.
The only time I know he's ahead of me or if I'm ahead of him is if somebody says it on Twitter. I try not to. Yes, I subbed to Dan. I joked about it yesterday, but I subbed to Dan. Of course I subbed to Dan.
He's at 9:37 and you're at 9:47. So.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Who's going to get to
Dan.
950 first?
Ooh.
And before he even asks, because I would never ask this, we ain't changing the bet. We are following through. And I am mentally prepared. You're going to be horribly disappointed if I sing a Bon Jovi song. I'm saying it right now. You will be horribly disappointed.
I don't know.
There are certain parameters that he should have put on. Like, you have to try to sing it as best you can. I don't have to do that.
Oh, no.
You can't change the lyrics. I'm going to change the lyrics. I'm going to Weird Al that shit as best I can. Destiny Cookie, thank you for the €5. I appreciate it. Fear the Tardo on the Streamlabs side for $10. Gotta get my Tardo voice going. Tardo have nightlight and keeps monsters away. Nightlight broke, so lit small fire. Dong story short.
Oh my God, Dong.
Dong story short. Tardo no have home no more.
Oh,
Can
no.
Tardo move in with sex pay girl? So be Tardo's new mommy. Promise no make fire again unless necessary. Lock it in. Yay.
Oh my God. I'll have to ask Mark first. Sorry, Tardo.
Okay. Io, I got it right this time, is gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50.
Yay.
70s rock fan.
What's up?
Congratulations on 10 years, brother. Here's the next 10. Keep on keeping on. I will, brother. It's great. Love you, man. Get out of Canada. Or at least, I don't know, somehow depose your dictator. Somehow, if you can do that. The
Maybe
exalted.
Alberta.
What was that?
Maybe Alberta. It's like the Texas of Canada. It's not a bad place.
It's not? Okay. That's good. That's good that Canada has a Texas. I saw Governor Greg Abbott tweet yesterday. You know, he's not a bad governor. He doesn't really stand for anything, though. Well, actually, you know what? He's probably looking a lot better than DeSantis these days. And DeSantis was, I thought, objectively a better governor than Abbott. Not so much anymore. But he put Texas over Europe, and it covers a lot of Europe. it's like, God dang, this place is big. And people say that all the time, but like, it takes 8 hours to drive out of here. Just to drive out of here. If I'm going west, 8 hours till I hit El Paso. The Exalted Patriarch for $4.99, 4 years sober as of New Year's Day. Hail! Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Nerdrotic, for everything. Hail! Congrats. 4 years is like, you know, it's after a while. Music sounds better. Things smell better. Sometimes they can smell worse. Food tastes better. Everything just gets better. Radio Man 1017, the man who gave me the Pander Stone. Hail for $10. Hail, Gary. Congrats on 10 years. I was at your first meetup, and I'll be there for MegaCon. Keep up the great work. Oh, Radio Man. Yeah, the first meetup, San Diego. San Diego, where we met Ryan. That was the first meetup. T1S for $2 or TIS. Happy 10th, you mad lad. Here's to 40 more years. 40. Oh, shit. I ain't living that long. Zissou Blue on the Streamlabs side for $25.52. Congratulations on the 10th anniversary. You've mentioned season 3 Picard recently. It was really worth watching. Is it really worth watching if you skip season 2 and season 1? Killed my love for Star Trek. Yes. Aside from, I would say, 3, possibly 4 innocuous references that if you don't understand them, it will not affect the story at all. As a matter of fact, if people are like, I'm curious about this, do not watch a nanosecond of anything other than Picard season 3. And what it will do is take some of the taste of the bad. Listen, the bad Next Generation movies are fucking Shakespeare compared to Kurtzman. I would watch them again and accept them as canon over Kurtzman. The only thing I hate is Generations. I fucking hate Generations, how they did Kirk. They did Kirk so dirty. But it's okay. Paramount's doing Kirk dirty. Star Trek Day, the poster for the second year in a row, left off Captain Kirk. They obviously don't like him. And even William Shatner's calling it out. Fuck and nobody gives a shit about Star Trek Day anyway. Does anybody give a fuck about Star Trek? They tried to do Star Wars Day. And they actually, Star Trek Las Vegas, which had been there forever, they took the rights away from that guy. By the way, he was a fucking clown, so I'm not feeling sorry for him. I'll tell that story in just a second. And they wanted to do their own Star Trek convention, and they're gonna abandon it now. And it looks like Star Trek. I think Tom mentioned like Alex Kurtzman wants to buy Star Trek, but I think somebody with more money would come in. But if Alex Kurtzman bought Star Trek, that would be fucking hilarious because it would be so bad. It would be, and he would have to get investors to do it. And you know what? Good on him. If he finds a bunch of dumb motherfuckers who will give him fucking money to own Star Trek, they deserve to lose all their money. They shouldn't be allowed to have that much money. And that's the great thing about the free market and meritocracy and the universe unfolding as it should. If a dumb motherfucker loses all his money giving Alex Kurtzman money to buy Star Trek, good. So the guy who runs Star Trek Las Vegas, I was talking to the Salty Nerd podcast on the floor, right? And it was right after COVID, so everybody had to wear masks. But you could take the mask off to drink. So we had the face diaper on. We had the fucking diapers on. And that guy came over and yelled at us, right? Fucking yelled at us. So, and you know, Matt and Salty, they're on the floor. I didn't want to start any trouble. They're like, fine, whatever. When I was done with my interview, I saw that guy down the hall, and I ripped him a new one.
Oh?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be going back to that con. I did. And I got in his face, and I'm like, because it was just how he talked to us. It's like, you could have just come over and said, guys, my show's going to get shut down. I need you to throw the masks up. You don't come and talk to, Matt and everybody else like they're fucking children. So I just should really reconsider how you talk to people. Because you sounded like a little fucking bitch. Fuck you and your con. Fuck you and your masks. Not some other 4-letter words. I wish it was eloquent, but it wasn't. It was not. Chris C. for $25. Hail the fellowship, keeping me company in the hospital. Oh, no. What's the matter? Chris, hope you're okay. Thank you for the 25. I hope it's just a routine thing. Trad for $10 on the Streamlabs side. Thanks for 10. Thank you for 10. 32 flavors of Nick Weiser for $2. Congrats on a huge 10 years on to 1 million subs. Thanks, brother. If we get there. It ain't there yet. Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $5. The Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3 live stream is how I found you. Been here ever since. That's all you and why you're my favorite Gary. Oh, I like being your favorite Gary. I'll take that. Brightest Day Audiobook says, thanks for being an inspiration and getting me through. Thank you for supporting the channel for as long as you have, which is a long time. Thank you for the $2. Dave Reverse on the Streamlabs side for $10. Don't got to say it, just vibing. You're hitting me in the feels, but that's another story. Congrats on making it 10 years, 1 million coming up. Cut off Dan's man bun. Gonna be sending you a gift in the P.O. box. Cheers, thank you. And I'd love to cut off his man bun. One of the most satisfying experiences from last year was cutting off Garrett's man bun. Live on
You
Normal
should have
World.
put it in the bet.
Oh, we should. I know. I agreed to the bet. Like, I've already told the story, but like, I heard half the video. We were in the middle of nowhere in Nevada, or between, it's right around the borderline of Nevada and Arizona. So the reception wasn't very good. I saw I saw Dan popping up in my mentions, and I'm like, and then somebody said he was talking about me. I'm like, okay, I listened to half of it, and I heard a bet. I'm like, fine, let's agree to the bet. And then I forgot. Dan, you're going to have to remind me what your initial thing was, because he said I had to sing a Bon Jovi song, but he didn't have to do very much. Now, I didn't know he was lining up one of his biggest videos ever, Amazing Grace, which was fucking awesome, and he was completely setting me up. But I'm like, sure, I'm not a pussy. Let's go. Let's bet. Let's do this. And then I just asked him, like, hey, no, like, I'll sing the Bon Jovi song, fine, but you got to sing a song I write for you. I have to write the song. And he said, yeah. So that's where we're at. And that bet was made April of last year, so it's coming up on a year. Quelndar for $100 on the Streamlabs. Cheers. 10 years and a day. Happy late anniversary, Gary. Yeah, I moved it back for George. I did it for George because George was having his first live stream. And I thought he should have priority.
That was a great live stream. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was fun. Tess on the Streamlabs side for $10.01. I'm so impressed by your story. I suffered from terrible depressions in my 20s, and I'm 33 now and still not where I want to live, but I'm doing better. Progress, not perfection. But by your story, I feel it's never too late to make some changes. No, it is not. It is not. It feels that way when you're younger, but then, 20 years passes and you're like, well, honestly, I don't feel 54.
That's good.
I might look it, but I don't feel it. So there you go. There's Tyrion Lannister said it best in season 1 of Game of Thrones and in the book Game of Thrones. Death is so final. I like life. It allows opportunities. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but they were talking about Bran. They were like, Jaime said, I'd rather be dead. And Tyrion's all, nope, I'd rather still be alive, basically. And I agree. Venusia Akito for $10 says, can't remember when exactly I started watching you, but it was shortly after either your appearance on the Timcast or Viva Barnes sidebar. And thanks for both of those people for having me on. Either way, been here ever since. So here's to another 10 years. Thank you. And thanks for watching on that. Yeah. It was cool seeing the Timcast compound. It was cool. SJ Almighty. I mean, I'm sure he's shown some stuff, but he's got stuff. Like, if I had the money, I would do it. I would definitely do it. I'll say this. I won't say where it is in the house, but he's got, like, secret compartments where you can, like, push the wall and it goes, wee. It's fucking rad. I'm like, that is rad. I need that. But, nah, can't afford it. So instead, I have a comics division in a little door. Well, Spider-Man standing in front of the door, but you can still see the door. The door right there.
Whenever it's time to go watch a movie, comics can come out.
Comics can come out. When it's showtime, too, comics can come out. M. Poe for €11.99 euros. Gary, Mike Low, X-Ray Girls, Loud. My TV low, so it has to be you.
We too low.
We too low. Holy fuck. No, I noticed on, yeah, it might be the, here, let me mess with the setting. Let's see if that works.
I did lower my mic so that we'd at least kind of be around the same.
Yeah, we're running through StreamYards right now, but I'm not. You are, but I'm not. I'm running directly through Streamlabs, and I've got it absolutely maxed out, and it's not even hitting the yellow unless I get right on the mic. I could pump up. If I pump up the decibels, that works a little bit. Okay, that works. But it blows me out, too. It like, well, that sounded bad. But it tops out audio-wise, but we'll just go with that. I don't like doing that because if I go to my other setting on my other computer, which shouldn't change at all, yeah, whatever. It's just the way it's just the way it is.
Better now? Okay.
Better now.
I'm blowing up a little then.
Aaron Pipes for $10 says, WonderCon with high school cheerleaders and Ryan running free. Be thankful you were not charged. Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, I've got a WonderCon story. We'll save that for another day. It's a bad story. SJ Almighty has sent a unicorn super sticker. Oh, I remember those. For £1.49. I remember the unicorn super stickers after Unicorn Store. Brie Larson's Unicorn Store, because my sister, who used to like, my older sister, who used to like unicorns, told me straight up that, oh, unicorns are just dicks. So it makes you watch her whole fucking movie with a different perspective. If you think about it, oh, the unicorn is a penis. Yep. Eric K for $4.99. That's what started all the unicorn. That was way back in the day. Way back in the day. It's so strange for me not to be there for the 10th anniversary. Been with you from the start. Much love. Sorry, chat. I have an appointment. 10 more. Thanks, Eric K. Hail, Eric K. It's all, dude, you don't have to apologize at all. Make your appointment. Zion 42 for $1.99. Happy 10th anniversary. Thank you. Slava Boga for $2. For a long time now, we are ruled by foxes, not lions. Completely agree. Rob Liefeld for $10. Nerdrotic, congrats on all your success. Did you see all the anti-white racists? I'm sure this is the real Rob Liefeld, too. All the anti-white racist academics going after Luke Caverns on Twitter after your Friday night Forbidden Frontier show with him. No.
After the show?
After the show? Why were they even watching my show?
He said they would be too.
He did.
Wow. Jealousy.
It has to be. I mean, like, okay, objectively, say you don't believe in ancient civilizations like I do, unapologetically, and aren't fans of Graham, and you're just straight up, I'm orthodoxy archaeology, right? I'm all about the orthodoxy point of view. There's nothing he does that should offend you, like, at all. He is tame compared to other people. All he does is he just finds lost cities in the jungle. That's all he does. He's a kid. By the way, he's a kid. I don't know if he'll like that or not, but he's like 25,
20s, right?
Like, shut the fuck up. He's doing probably because he's doing more than those academics did. their entire life, and he's done it by the time he's 25. They're probably pissed off because they're stuck in their fucking classrooms, and this kid can go run around the fucking jungle, which is, I don't even know if they'd have the fucking balls to do it. Because you know what? I'm not going to be your spokesman for sending your kid to college. I am not going to be that because I'm not a big fan of authority anyway. And I think most college professors really love being the kingdoms of their own little domains over all those, and they just get their rocks off on all that power. I think that's the vast majority of professors. So if they don't like that and they're mad at me for it, fucking good. Look in the mirror, because if that triggers you, then you must be one of them. But that's crazy. Yeah, it's catty out there. It's catty. So if you're not aware, in like the Graham Hancock in ancient civilizations, what people call the woo-woo, UFOs, stuff like that, lots of infighting, which doesn't help them because they're always getting attacked by skeptics, mainstream point of views. But what they do is not entirely different thematically. I don't think it's not. We question the narrative. They question the narrative. That's the thing we have in common. And we get the same accusations. So my unsolicited advice to Luke, let him quack. Let the ducks quack. Let the piggies oink. Gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to their school. Fuck them. They can sit there and bitch and whine all they want. Most of the time, it's best to let them quack or oink away because they will bury themselves. As I've said for a long time, a poser, a fraud, a tourist, somebody who's just a flat out fucking liar will always out themselves. F6 Blue for 10 euros. Says, happy 10th, Gary. Next time you go to the UK, visit Avebury. Oh, I've been to Avebury. 20 miles north of Stonehenge. Bigger, more interesting. Salisbury Hill next door. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to skip London, other than flying there probably, and do all that other stuff. We're going to get a car, and like we'll do it differently. We'll definitely do it differently. But yes, I want to see all of those things. Chris Nicholson, but I've been to the other one before. Chris Nicholson for $20. Congrats on 10 years of being awesome. Thank you. I'm not sure about it. I wasn't awesome for 10 years. You guys kept me sane during quarantine when I was deploying, and as the woke took over and pushed me out of my favorite fandoms, here's to another 10 of taking the spaces back, which we have done, by the way. We have done it. It is... George the Giant Slayer. George for $49.99. Congratulations, Gary. This isn't an anniversary. It's a celebration of the ultimate rebel taking on Hollywood Hive. Tinseltown takes our children and shoves it into a shit sandwich. Our childhood, sorry. Well, they take our children too. Takes our childhood and shoves it into a shit sandwich, and you punch back. Cheers. I know Jeremy said this. I know Azza said this. I know Drinker. I know a lot of people in our realm, and I know a lot of people in the chat feel the same way. Bring it. I fucking love a good little scuffle. I do, especially when it's digital. I just bring it. No fucks to give. None. And yes, they have taken everything we loved and shit on it, George. But as Chris said in this chat, we're taking it back, and we are succeeding, and now you're going to see them whine more, bitch more, and now they're doing shit like CBR running an article saying Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who Saved Doctor Who is literally made for people to make videos and to farm engagement on Twitter. That's the only reason that article was written, because not a year before, CBR wrote an article talking about how Chibnall's Doctor Who was almost canceled. So it's all bullshit. Try not to feed into it. I think it was Aaron Sparrow said it on Twitter too. And I think he was talking about a Perch tweet. But all the fucking Last Jedi shit you see there. Last Jedi was actually a classic, and Perch correctly pointed out, like, nobody's fucking sliding onto Twitter and talking about a 7-year-old movie that everybody fucking hated as a classic. That is not an authentic thing. It is not a real thing. It's meant to piss people off about The Last Jedi and Engagement Farm. And as Engagement Farm gets worse, more people will learn to, like, I don't recognize it all the time either, but like more people will learn to recognize it. And yeah, I'm not like, I'm guilty of it. I'll do it with Miles Morales, but it's occasionally, just to prove it can still be done. And I know it angers people to no end, but the Miles Morales one is the most interesting thought experiment, because you guys have heard this before, but just in case there's anybody new, I tweet out Miles Morales is Miles Morales, which is an objective truth. What's interesting is all the response of, I'm a racist, whatever. The question is he not Miles Morales? Oh, he is Miles Morales. So it must be you need him to replace Peter Parker. Why? Why do you need Miles Morales to? That's the question. What's the answer? I don't know. Don't care. D's Weebos for $4.99. Happy 10th anniversary, Gary. Will you and Doomcock ever be back on X's Zone? Missed it so much. I have a completely different show now called Forbidden Frontier. We had a great episode last night. It was fun doing that show back in the day, but yeah, we got a new show now. I hope you enjoy it with X-Ray Girl and Quarterback Garrett and Adam Krigler. As long as he doesn't keep tweeting about the theatrical version of Lord of the Rings being better than the extended versions, because I said I will replace you with Ian Crossland at the drop of a hat. Just kidding. I love Adam. Check it out. I thought we had a fun episode. I hope poor Luke is okay. I can go in there. I'll just call them a bunch of academic groomers. Shut up, you commie groomers. John Cunningham for $10. Thanks for sticking with it, Gary. The FNT cast as well as Razor's live streams have really unblackpilled me. Good. How could young newbies like me contribute to the Iron Age in a positive, non-grift manner? There are a lot of ways. What are you good at? Simply partake in no super chats. Support through partaking in the chats, meeting other people who are partaking in the Iron Age, sharing other projects, talking to people. I mean, it's really as simple as that. But if you have something to contribute, like you're creative in some way, then just do it. Don't know what your strengths are, but play to your strengths. But you being here helps the Iron Age. And again, it's not just a super chat. You being in a chat or leaving a comment or sharing something. That's my favorite thing from Razor Fist is he's always talking about the black pill and how it's cowardice. It's the ultimate cowardice. It undermines absolutely everything. You always got to live to fight another day. You're not going to win every fucking battle. And especially if the battle isn't fair and they rigged the battle. You got to learn how to fight smarter, not give up, not ever give up. Lady Gravemaster is gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership. She's not supposed to be doing that. George the Giant Slayer for $49.99 is part 2. George! Nerdrotic isn't just a channel. It's a superhero lair. Thanks for being the inspiration to me and so many more. Keep leading the charge for 10 more as a beacon of hope for the weary and a song of courage for the brave. Hail, Gary. Hail, George. Thank you.
Gary.
Yeah.
I started a live stream. It's just this chair. I don't know if you want to maybe call him.
No, I think we should share it.
Share it. It's called Sunday Fun Day, so I don't think you meant to start it.
Hang on. I'm calling him right now.
Okay. Thank you, chat, for telling us.
Hey, are you streaming your chair on purpose? Are you streaming your chair on purpose? Well,
And
apparently
you're
you are.
screaming.
I hope the camera wasn't on the whole time.
No.
Sunday Fun Day's up.
7 minutes ago. Oh,
It's just a chair stream. Did it just turn on automatically? That's weird. I think you should keep it up. See how long.
just leave it.
I just shut down OBS.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't know what on earth is going on there.
It's like when Gary started a live stream that one time too.
Oh yeah, when I was recording a video. When I was recording.
I just finished the stream.
Oh, you did? Oh, I see you now.
I see you in the stream.
Yeah, well, I just shut it down.
Okay.
I just finished the stream. I have no idea why.
Okay.
Bye, Az.
Bye, Az. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thanks, Gary. Thanks,
Of
chat.
course. Of course. All right, we're gonna run through these. We're running up. Oh my god.
I don't think you're gonna make it through all of them.
I'm gonna try. I got 20 more minutes.
You were on George last.
I'm on George last. I got 20 more minutes. We're gonna get through this. If not, then
Square up.
square up. What am I gonna do? Square up. I'm live streaming every day. Maybe I could read some on the next nooner. That's what I'll do. I'll read some on the next nooner. So with Chris, we'll just save them for that. All right. So we'll do that. John Cunningham for $10. Thanks for sticking with it, Gary. FNT. Oh, I read that one. The real Davy Jones for $10. Congrats on 10 years as Nerdrotic and more importantly, 10 years sober. Glad I could share the last 3+ years with you. 996 days. Oh, till I can leave the People's Republic of California. Ooh, that's a long time. 996 days. That's 3 years. If my math is right. Around 3 years. Well, I'm glad you can leave at some point. Good luck to you there. Maybe you're in a based county. At least when I lived in California for that last year, we were in like Escondido, and North County's pretty based. Pretty based pocket. It's like what Orange County used to be. Orange County still like got some based pockets, but like North County, San Diego, I was straight up in like based area of Escondido. A lot of gun owners, a lot of good people, a lot of American flags. Japanese Demon Lord, what if this DEI stuff is 4D chess move to destroy the reputations of certain groups of people? It is, okay? That's what they don't recognize. That's why the useful idiots are fucking retarded. Because the DEI is supposed to, like, they win either way. They either get Marxism through pushing this shit, or they get their revolution and tear down the system by destroying it. They win either way. Activists don't give a fuck. They come in and they latch. Activists are the ultimate grifters. The ultimate grifters. Professional activists look to find things wrong. Look to find things wrong. Instead of looking at what is, they look to find things wrong, and they love to get their fucking leeches. They're leeches. They're ticks. They're fleas. And they latch themselves onto the corporations they hate because their original thoughts, their original ideas, and in terms of Hollywood, their original stories don't sell because nobody fucking wants to hear it because activism isn't fun. It overheated again. Well, I left my camera on last night, so you're just gonna have to deal for a second. So it they latch onto it, and that's why they, once the Marvel was built up a little bit, they latched onto that. Once Disney Star Wars had, well, I think they latched on from the beginning. But once they had a chance to get at Star Trek, they latched onto that. They latched on to Marvel Comics. They are latching on to video games. Why do you think there's a company out there that helps touch up scripts to make them basically more woke? And why has that company protected their tweets since Az pointed it out in a video? It's what Charmine Obaid-Chinoy said in one of the interviews in my video. That's the biggest takeaway. It's not that I'm always an activist. It's the term she used, covert activism. If you're an activist, why in the fuck would you be covert? Why, I mean, maybe if you are in a Muslim country and you're exposing beaten women and you don't want to get beaten yourself, okay. But she said in all things, it's covert and overt. Why in the fuck would there be covert activism in the Muppets? Why would there be covert activism in children's shows? Why would there be covert activism in fucking Star Wars? Because they know you wouldn't like it. That's why they're really free on their Zoom calls when they're talking to each other to say my not so secret gay agenda. What they didn't finish that with is for little kids. For little kids. Now, I am of the belief that kids are born gay. Absolutely born gay. And I think a lot of the kids who are going through this trans trending are just gay kids. Are just gay kids that need to be allowed to be gay. And not chop their junk off and stuff. God, I remember the days where we just almost killed ourselves on drugs. But at least if we survived, we had, well, most of our, my brain doesn't work that well, but everything else works great. Get a tattoo, get an earring. You want to piss off your dad, whatever, play some loud music. That's not willing to chop off my dick for anything. Just saying. But that's the whole point. They can't make anything. They latch onto it. It gets destroyed. Good. They completely take it over. Good. They win either way. See, we aren't in the position of power because it's easier to destroy than create, and they just want to destroy. They have no solution. Once their glorious revolution, if it ever happened, which it won't, once it happened, it would just turn into hell. Fantastic, Mr. Knox, for 10 Australian dollars. Hail and good day, Gary. Wow, 10 years? I wish I engaged earlier. Congrats on sticking around for that long. Keep up the great work, and here's to another 10 keeping the fellowship alive. You guys keep the fellowship alive. You guys do that. That's you. Hot Grape Studios for $5. Happy anniversary, Gary and the Nerdrotics. It's been a great week for me as my first son was born. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Grapes and baby grapes are healthy and happy. Hail. WS for $50. Happy 10th. Your victories in the culture war are more than I'm accomplishing in the army. I'm probably fated to be blown to pieces by a Russian drone. I hope the fuck not. We shouldn't be fighting Russia. While the diversity hires abandon me. Sorry for the downer tone. Stay entertaining, and I pray I get out. Well, WS, maybe things will turn around on election, and Ukraine has gotten awfully quiet. You notice that? Been awfully quiet surrounding the Ukraine because I believe they're looking for a way out. They're just looking for a way out. It's a quagmire. It's a quagmire. It's turned into a fucking quagmire, just like everybody said it would. No U.S. people better ever fucking die for some oil.
And
it's a fight we started, by the way. I'm not a fan of Putin, but we're the ones who went and disrupted the regime and the election in Ukraine and put in our puppet, something the CIA is well known for, and it generally destabilizes everything. Just ask Iran, just ask South America, just ask Vietnam. Disband the CIA, disband the FBI. Now. Especially since they're investigating us now. Enoch Maman, abuser of Streamlabs for $10. Strange that X-Ray Girl remembers the UK considering she was blackout drunk from the time she landed to her departure. This is true. Hopefully she didn't get brownout drunk. Number one needs to begin their day like... No one needs to begin their day like that. She did not get brownout drunk. She just got blackout drunk.
Yeah,
No, she
there
was-
were pictures, so I reviewed them and made stories from them.
There you go. Sparta Chris for $5. Big Daddy Newsom doesn't have strings, Gary. He's got a hole. He's got a hole that the devil rams his fist up. That okay. Better analogy. Thank you. Happy 10-year anniversary. That newer X-Files episode from the last 2 seasons they did that were mostly shit, except for the one. There's like 3 really fucking good episodes. That was it Mr. Chuckleteeth? No, this was Buffy. It's Smile Time. God, I gotta. Mr. Chuckleteeth is great episode about a evil kids program. But Smile Time had the puppet hand up the human body. Yeah, fucking crazy. Good stuff.
Ew.
Ade Robertson for $9.99, pronounced Aid. Oh, Aid Robertson. Sorry. Congratulations on your 10th anniversary, Aid and Becca. Thank you, Aid and Becca.
Yes.
Fourth drawer down for $4.99. Don't forget Snowflame. Snowflame! I like the Echo Deaf intro, Gary. Very inclusive. I do my best, Rudy. I am the most inclusive motherfucker on YouTube. I have the most diverse crew on YouTube. Where is my DEI money, motherfuckers? That's right. I mean, we got Quarter Black, who's also special needs. We got Perry, who's got 2 things going against him. He's Canadian, and he's Canadian. And then we have X-Ray Girl, who's Asian and Canadian. I mean, Asian's good, but yeah, I hit the whole spectrum. We are on the spectrum.
And we get great parking because of Mark.
And Mark gets us good parking spots. We take him everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, he'll spend a half an hour over-explaining the parking and then over-explaining the door and then over-explaining whatever we're doing. But we love Mark. I'm just kidding,
Yeah.
Mark. I'm just kidding. We're gonna do our Venture Brothers too. You know what? I hope he sticks to it. My Nerdrotic Jr. wants to join in on the Venture Brothers.
What?
So that's why I'm waiting. So we watch it again. Yeah, Nerdrotic Jr. Well, he can't be on camera, but his voice will be there.
I'm so sad.
And you'll get to hear the voice that opens up every one of my video now.
Nerdrotic.com.
It's like nerdrotic.com.
It's dropped quite a few octaves.
Octaves, yes. Charles S. for $10. Hey, Gary, I found you during season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. When I Googled, why is Star Trek Discovery so awful? No way. And all of your videos popped up. Thought I was all alone and I wasn't. Thanks for all the work you do. Oh, that's awesome. Roger Rubio for $10. Hey, Gary, congrats on 10 years. I first started tuning in during the Loki reviews. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I would watch others hype it up, but felt the same way you did. Made me a fan to see I wasn't alone and not liking it. You were not alone. You actually have a lot of company. That Loki hype was some bullshit. Roger, thanks for being here. Go check out Mahler. I'm sure you have already, but go check out Mahler. Mahler might hate it more than I do. And I hate it a lot. But Loki was fucking terrible. And you know what makes things... There's got to be like, the Marvels is terrible, but it features a bunch of characters I don't give a fuck about. That's why I picked Indiana Jones over the Marvels in the top 5 woke disasters, because Indiana Jones is a character I cared about. I give a fuck about Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau, who doesn't even have a superhero name, and they all have like, stupid superhero powers that look like they were made up on the schoolyard. God, that made me sound really old. Kids don't play superheroes with made up superhero powers on the schoolyard anymore, but I did. Okay. Yeah.
They might still. Who knows?
So that's like like Loki was a character we loved. Hairless primate for 2 British pounds. You goddamn gangsta, Gary. 10 years, you beast. Boom. Cheers.
Cheers.
Descobra for $10. Doesn't say anything, just drops it. Thanks. Darth Forbag for 555. 555. We are listening to the audiobook version of Crisis in Infinite Tijuanas. Yes, you are. You are. If I get away with calling it, I can't, though. The publisher said no. Jason Stahl for $9.99. Congrats on 10 great years of the Tube of You. You and the Fellowship have been a sobering group in a sea of absurdity and nihilism. Hashtag respect for Tolkien. Respect for Tolkien. Tatiana Ferreira for 50 euros. That sounds like such a great name. Tatiana Ferreira. It sounds like a supermodel name. Hope you're not a dude. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Tatiana, for 50. Congratulations, Gary. When I first found your channel, I was crushed with the shit show of season 8 of Game of Thrones. Thanks to your channel, I'm managing to go through the stupid era with humor and hope for pop culture. The way I see it, you're doing great service to mankind. Cheers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, like this is work. I mean, we're coming out the other end. We still have a ways to go, but there is a light. We see the light. It is not the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train. It's a light. We're going to move towards the light. Got to get through this year. This year's going to be a little crazy. I'm hoping, I think it's good that people prepare for a crazy year, and I hope they're all like, oh, it wasn't as crazy as I thought. But it's best to prepare. Now, are we going to prepare for civil war and stock up some food and firearms? I think you should do that anyway. I think that should be like your fallback, your default, is have food and firearms no matter what. Because if it's not society, it could be a rock falling from the sky or whatever, you know. Solar flare, Carrington event. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers finally making a video on his channel, you know. Dermy Wormy for $5. Hail all, let's be honest. It's in vogue now to hate Disney. That's why all the pundits are coming out against it. Yep. But we, like Dermy, we want to be careful. By the way, I love you, Dermy. I love Dermy Wormy. Clip that. But we don't want to start sounding like the hipsters either, going, well, I was hating Disney way before it was fucking cool. You know, we just don't. We don't. Because if we start saying that, then you know what? Get on your Vespa, go to your little boutique cafe that's a pop-up, order your avocado on toast and your chai, and wear a beret. I don't fucking know. No. What we say is welcome. Welcome. And if they're drive-by, they're going to leave anyway. And they're not in it to win it. You know, it's completely up to you. Like you guys got to decide who's authentic or not. Like I've been wrong about people in the past just based on the video. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a fan of that guy. And then I or gal, and I learn, and I'm like, no, okay, they're cool. All right, I was wrong. You know, that's fine. We figure it out on our own. I mean, there are things I know about certain influencers that I would never say public. It's not my business to say. I would just know that that's not a person I'm gonna be around. You know, not gonna get in their way. Do your thing. Fucking go for it. Whatever. But knowing what I know, it's like, it's probably not a very trustworthy person. Good person to be around. You guys are smart. That's the problem is with content creators is so many of them think they're smarter than you. No, we're dumber than you. Okay. Collectively, you guys are brilliant. You're funny, and you guys can figure out who's full of shit or not. It takes time. You know, a lot of people can put out a front and do a very good job at it, but eventually, the front drops. I mean, how many times have we seen it on YouTube? 1,000 times. There'll be 1,000 times more. So that's why it's just best to be authentic and real. And Again, if you're getting into content creation, you know what? Compete against yourself and don't worry what other people are doing, you know, and you know what? Get inspired. Like I've said it a million times. Well, not a million. That's an over exaggerating. I love watching YouTube. I like my nightly Ryan Kinnell videos that he drops like around 10 o'clock at night. I watch every single one. I like Film Threat. I like Jeremy when he does make a video, or, you know, watching one of his 75 live streams. I watch that. I'm watching games I could give a fuck about, but I'll watch Sunday Fun Day as he takes all of my people away on Sunday. But it's fun to watch. I watch Culture Casino. I watch a ton of YouTube because you learn a lot by watching a ton of YouTube. If you're going to be on this platform, it's best to know the platform intimately. When I bought the comic store, I was a Marvel guy. I was a Batman fan and a Superman fan and a Teen Titans fan. But I didn't read any Silver Age DC at all before I got into the comic store. It wasn't that expensive, but it was too goofy to me. I didn't care. I was a Marvel snob, just purely Marvel. Would cross over into DC for the good stuff, but that's it. When I bought the comic store, I deep dived, got trades, everything, and I'm still catching it. I got through maybe a quarter of it, but I did as much as I could to be informed because, now I'm selling comic books. I got to know what the fuck I'm talking about. So to circle back to the drive-by pundits, it's good that they're talking about it. Now they need to keep talking about it. Not every second, but and not just keep talking about it. Stop denying it's happening. Stop, it's video games are stupid. It's like that argument is so fucking tired. I mean, if I hear it from a 70-year-old, okay. If I hear it from somebody who's younger than me, oh, you're on the wrong path, son. You're on the wrong path. Video games are important. They're very important. So you just hear from a bunch of working men and women today. It's like, you know what? Busted my ass. You know what's in the back of their head? Oh, I can go home and chill out and play a game for a couple hours. It sounds fun. Get you through the day. That's important. That's important. You know what's important to the other side that the right-wing pundits supposedly want to fight? The woke. You know what's important to them? Us not being comfortable. They don't ever want us comfortable. Activists don't ever. What did Anita Sarkeesian say? Everything's racist. Everything's sexist. Don't let them be comfortable, not even for a moment. But you know what? I want everybody to be comfortable at some point in their life. I do. Everybody. That's what I want. So yes, these little creature comforts that we talk about, these little leisure items, ultimately are important. Because for one, it's a sign of a modern society that's doing well. So while they're telling you capitalism sucks, all this shit sucks, this is the most prosperous nation that's ever lived. Ever lived. And it's 200 years old. Why? We got over some really gnarly shit, learned to live together. It ain't going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Somebody's looking for some fucking utopia, then, I don't know, cut your head off, freeze it, wait 1,000 years, and it still won't be here. And ultimately, a lot of the activism stems from personal problems, personal insecurity. That's what most of the trans stuff is. 99% of the pronoun shit, demanding to change your language, is that person is really trying to come to terms with their decision, and they're not okay with it. So they're projecting it all on you and Twitter and pronouns because that person deep down knows the truth. So they want you to go into denial with them, and most of us just, I've said it multiple times, I will not participate in your fantasies. This is still hope. There is still hope. Dune 2 and Furiosa. Furiosa is going to suck. Millen, I think Furiosa is going to suck. I could be wrong. I like Anna Taylor-Joy. I do. I like her a lot. I would like to see Mad Max in my Mad Max movie. I would. Dune 2, think it's going to be really good. Are coming, and maybe Deadpool surprises us. Maybe. Grats on 10 years. I hear you like metal. I love metal. Then please allow me to recommend you The Warning, a three Mexican sister power trio. Oh, shit, that's awesome. Not exactly metal, but hard rock mostly. Hell, I'll check it out. That sounds fun. I listen to metal exclusively in the gym. Why? Because, for me anyway, I work out harder on cardio and in lifting when I'm listening to metal. I just do. And the harder you work out, the better the exercise. If I'm listening to a podcast or slower music, I tend to move slower. So that's why I just listen to really angry, evil, fast as fuck, thrash, metal. I mean, it doesn't have to all be thrash, but I like some good old metal too. I've been listening to a lot of Wasp lately because they're just fucking good. Early burn for $10. Congrats on 10 years, Gary. $10 for 10 years. Have you considered maybe as off-air talent getting some Amanda Hug and Kiss? Got him. Got him. Amanda Hug a Kiss? I don't know. Who says that? I was in San Francisco for 18 years, buddy. No. I don't need that. I got my wife. Fills all my needs. Vincent Cruz for $5 says, I agree. The moment Star Wars was dead was the moment when Kylo wasn't intimidated once he took off his mask and he started breaking shit in his bed. Yeah. Everything about that was wrong, and that's why Jar Jar Abrams, who was going to be the next Spielberg, hasn't directed shit since. His career's over. He's gonna, he has the power with his production team and Bad Robot, but power is over. The only reason Alex Kurtzman still gets jobs is because nobody gives a shit about Star Trek. Nobody's watching. By the way, do you want to know what the average ratings for a Star Trek Discovery episode overall from season 1 to now? Average. I'm talking about average. So we're going to count the general interest from the first couple of episodes from curious Star Trek fans. Under 300,000.
Oh.
Under 300,000. And that's not just that one night of viewing. That's their average. And in a lot of cases, it's well under it. It's losing money hand over fist. And why do they continue it? Fuck if I know, man. It's just a corporate shell game, Hollywood economics. Derek PJ for Beller for $4.99. Will you consider a meetup in the Kansas City area, the very middle of the flyover country? Great barbecue and an airport that doesn't suck. Maybe. I mean, I could drive there. Japanese Demon Lord for $10. Easy way to fix Star Wars. Introduce the mythical Darth Jar Jar and make him run around like Jason in Friday the 13th series, doing what Jason does to all the Disney Star Wars character, R-rated. I'd watch the shit out of that. All right, we're gonna have to go. We have about 100 more to go.
It's been a busy
That is
afternoon.
crazy. You guys are awesome. I'm sorry I have to go. So I'll get these on Wednesday. We'll hit these on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we will. So with Chris Gore, probably after he bails out, then I'll hit the rest of these. So day after tomorrow on the Nooner, I'll hit the rest of these. Thank you so much. I hate going, but this is I was only supposed to go 2 hours. But you guys are awesome.
One more.
So I will hit the rest. We got late to the show for $50. That should be the title of the show, by the way. Thank you. Congrats. You are an inspiration to so many of us. Motivated me to get into the reaction game. Here's to 10 more years. 1 million. Beat Dan. Oh, I plan to. All right, fellers and ladies. Thanks for hanging on, and this will be re-uploaded on Nerdrotic Live. If not, then just hang on to the link. It's just going to be unlisted. And yeah, 10 years. Let's just do some more. Let's do some more. And I'm really lucky. I'm lucky I have good people like working around here, like X-Ray Girl and Quarter Black and Perry and Lady Grey Master. I am a fortunate guy because they're self-motivated. They're into the channel. They're funny. They have good sense of humors, and they don't get no hang-ups. You don't have to walk on eggshells around them. It's nice. It's nice.
You can be yourself.
You could just be yourself. Be cool. And that's what I appreciate. And you can always be yourself around the lovely chat. Hail to the chat. Hail to the fellowship. You are the true heroes out there. And none of this happens without you. No Friday Night Tights, no Real BBC, none of this. So thank you. I am eternally grateful. You guys have given me the best gig in the world. And not sure to this day I deserve it, but doesn't matter. I'll do the best I can with it, and hopefully you get a few chuckles. And all my friends out there, all the content creating friends, thanks for putting up with me. I really appreciate it. And thanks to the Modrotics. Thank you to the Modrotics. So have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow on the Real BBC on Haz's channel. He did a little pre-stream of it with his chair earlier. And I look forward to roasting him about that for an entire show. So see you tomorrow on Haz's channel, 12 Central Time. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Nerdrotic.com.